and I crush everyone that steps to me. I stomp on them. I flatten them. They're scared to even talk to me. There's a trail of bodies behind them. Bring on your heroes, bro. Watch me crush them. Bring your heroes here to die.
Alright. What's up, Hexicans and my people in the digital and crypto space? My name is Karim, investor, and I want to talk to you about how I find the most innovative crypto out in the world. It's called Hex. And here's my story. Listen closely. On the track. So first, there was Bitcoin, the OG in the game, the whole reason I even thought to get in the lane. So let me explain. Content creator Trevon James spoke of a crypto that made mad gains, but it was and I got wrecked, but I still had the pulse, had to get it back. My first Ponzi experience, and that's a fact. It was unaudited code everywhere. Cease and desist letters had everyone scared. But it's decentralized, right? Psych. All of these projects are 99% hype. So then I dollar cost averaged it to ETH. It wasn't complete, but I just said I gotta eat. It was a slow progress, but guess what's next? Richard Hart's completed project. It's called Hex.
So why would I take huge counterparty risk to make 7 measly percent when thousands of percent are possible? Why would I do that? Crypto is designed to get rid of counterparties, not add them. And all of those loan your coins out for money things, the vast majority of them, takes your keys from you and makes the world a less secure place so that you can make 6 or 7%.
We're the Hexicans coming for your neck again. This cryptocurrency space ain't ready for us yet again. We're the Hexicans. Yeah, I'm a Hexican. Now, we're the Hexicans coming for your neck again. This cryptocurrency space ain't ready for us yet again. We're the Hexicans. Yeah, I'm a Hexican. So I'm like, bet, how can I invest? He said if you got MetaMask, brother, you set. Now don't forget to write your seed words down. Not your keys, not your crypto, bet. So I set. Richard is a vet. Retired at 23, traveling in jets. He writes self-help books, especially his new book. In 2019, Richard Hart was that guy. More famous words, bring your heroes here to die. Now I'm a Hexican, all of us are best of friends. All around the world, and none of us are next to kin. You stake your Hex and you receive shares. Hex.com explains it, it's all quite clear. And everything is done without exploitation. Bitcoin is spaghetti code, Hex is amazing.
Bitcoin stores value, the number goes up, everyone's happy. Ethereum stores value, the number goes up, everyone's happy. Hex stores value more securely than Bitcoin. With audited software, Bitcoin's not audited. An economics audit, Bitcoin doesn't have an economics audit. Isolated consensus code so that it can't accidentally get screwed up in a network upgrade.
We're the Hexicans coming for your neck again. This cryptocurrency space ain't ready for us yet again. We're the Hexicans. Yeah, I'm a Hexican. Now, we're the Hexicans coming for your neck again. This cryptocurrency space ain't ready for us yet again. We're the Hexicans. Yeah, I'm a Hexican. Now, to Hex haters, hi haters, we got Marines on the team and they ball breakers. Hex cut out the middleman, that's the original plan, so you never get scammed, you mint your own coins. Now I'm on my drill shit, fuck Peter McCormick, I'll disrespect him in these streets, maybe with a loaded clip. And coin market cap is whack. See, Hex is the top 10 crypto, so where we at? Now I'm just having fun, basking in the setting sun, but please don't play with Hex again or I'm gonna have to get the gun. We've already done the 350X. Sorry plebs, but we ain't even start to flex. When we hit the trillions, we'll change like chameleons. Trustless interest, oh what a feeling. We in the building, and Hex gonna make a killing. Yeah. So shout out to the creator and founder Richard Hart. That took hours to teach us individuals who really want to learn and understand cryptocurrency. It took this many years to research and create the project that we know now as a product called Hex. Shout out to content creators like Hexologist, Discourse Syndicate, RG3s, Cutthroats, and many more. Yeah, like Dennis Kyle, Firebun, Steph with the Stake app to find and track your Hex. Special shout out to Ski Cat, Artie Intel, and Freddie Quotes. Remember, crypto is the highest appreciating asset known to man. So let's stop trying to be right and get it right. Remember, do your own research and never invest more than you will to lose. With that being said,
Only use case. option whatsoever in cryptocurrency. Is speculation, store value. That's it, period. For speculation, what's the only thing you care about? Price up. Okay. If you're a store value guy, what do you care about? Price up. Okay. Well, what makes price go up? People buying more than they sell. Anything else? Nope. Hold on a second. Wait a second. You're telling me that the most important thing in crypto is the price goes up, and that the only way the price goes up is if people buy more than they sell. Yep. That's what I'm telling you. Well, isn't it interesting that Hex was designed specifically to address exactly those two things? Yeah. Hex Monetizes is the only thing that actually matters, which is people buying and not selling. And it monetizes the time value of money the same way that they do it in the real world. It just blows my mind that we have CDs in the real world, but we don't have them on the blockchain. So I put them on the blockchain. And people are just like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, the share price has gone up over 500x. That's a big deal. People that people that truly understand Hex and get it, it's all about the shares. The shares are more rare than the Hex.
There's so many scams, I have to change my username. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere. Richard Hart, bracket. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere, bracket. That's fucked up, right? But I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scams. Everyone else is like, oh, fucking that Richard, yeah, he's a scammer.
All right, guys, we're going to play part 2 real quick. Just a few more minutes. Part 2 playing right now.
Scammer.
Call it a scam. Nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need a token, you broken, you wanna see some massive gains? Lambo, new crib, model wife, cash and chains. Look no further at your final destination. Don't be complacent every day when you paper chasing. Choose the best, leave the rest. Stop investing like you press. The only crypto that you'll ever need is Hex. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. Your investments are safe, it's got defenses. A mutable contract that pays trustless interest. I don't understand why everybody is hating. Hex is capped at 3.69 inflation. Shares are like hash rate. The higher you take her, the more daily interest that gets paid to the stakers. Always do your own research, don't listen to me though. It's complete, it can't be changed. Hex is finito. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. The game has changed, ain't no going back now. Dummies that called Hex a scam can back down. I hope you understand, I pray that you follow me. You owe the entire Hex family an apology. And stay sober, cash out, the game's over. Hex is here for the market cap takeover. Buckle up, we about to be full throttle. With multiple audits where we get paid to hodl. We got the game smothered, sisters and brothers, with no expectation of the work from others. It's complicated, I know that there's a lot to this. For your daily Hex updates, tune to Hexologist.
What's up, guys?
Hex is like nothing that you ever been through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pumpamentals. If you like what you hear, by now, think twice. Just remember, yo, this ain't financial advice. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans.
HEX is the first certificate of deposit on the blockchain. It's an immutable smart contract that rewards those who lock up their coins when they stake. In other words, HEX was designed to be like a long-term savings account, but with far greater yield than anything the bank has to offer. If you're new to cryptocurrencies, here's how all of this works. When you purchase HEX, it behaves just like any other cryptocurrency. They vary in price as people trade them, just like Bitcoin. However, unlike other crypto assets, HEX pays you interest in the form of more HEX for locking up your monetary value for a selective period of time. The longer you time lock your HEX, the higher your interest rate will be. This is not unlike a traditional banking certificate of deposit. The key difference is, HEX was designed to yield extraordinarily high rates of return versus typical banking products, and puts you in complete control over your finances. But what does this really look like? Some people get into HEX without understanding enough about the product. They immediately make a large investment and throw out a few random stakes between 1 to 2 years. While this is great, HEX was designed to produce significant returns in both interest and fiat value over the course of several years, not just 1 or 2. If you properly understand its design, you can set yourself up to earn a perpetual passive income from HEX. This is like planting an orchard of apple trees. Apple trees are designed to take time to fully mature before they yield significant amounts of produce. HEX was designed in much the same way. Could you imagine trying to live on 2-year-old fruit trees that only just started producing a fraction of their full potential? Sure, you may see significant growth and even yield a little produce, but it would be impossible to enjoy the fruits of your labor for years to come. But what if you employed a longer-term plan in the development of your apple orchard? What if you planted a new crop each year from years 1 to 15? And what if you continued this process every year thereafter? If you did this, you would essentially have a never-ending supply of apples for generations. Can you imagine how much produce you'd receive from your 10 to 15-year-old apple trees? You could supply enough apples to feed a small country. This is exactly how HEX Savings works. It's a long-term savings account. Now, I'm not saying you should lock up all of your HEX for 15 years and forget about it, although some have, and they seem to be quite happy with their decision. I'm saying if you build a proper staking ladder, one that sets stakes to mature up to 10 or 15 years from today, you can enjoy the maximum yield on your investment for years to come. Having stakes set to mature between years 1 through 15 allows you to enjoy the fruits of your investment early, while also giving you the patience and discipline to reap potentially life-changing rewards in the longer term. It's the same as enjoying the abundant fruits of a 15-year-old apple tree versus a 1-year-old tree. Imagine if Bitcoin was designed this way. All of those who bought Bitcoin for $1 in the early years maybe wouldn't have sold all of their holdings at $10 and missed out on an additional 600,000% ROI in less than 7 years. Not to mention where the price is today. Maybe if Bitcoin earned more Bitcoin in the form of interest for holding, more investors would hold long-term and be less likely to sell. These supply and demand economics cause the price to soar with very little sell pressure. It's a model that allows everyone the opportunity to succeed. What happens if the global HEX network only sells their interest monthly, quarterly, or yearly and restakes their remaining principal? Theoretically, it allows for the most stable price appreciation to the upside over time. Climbing prices, coupled with unparalleled interest rates for HEX stakers, creates a positive feedback loop that ultimately leads to one thing: freedom for all. Learn more and get started today at Hex.com.
Hex art, surely we've got a Hexican who's a tattoo artist, right? Surely. I think there's going to be a lot of people.
I don't think we do, because there was a bounty for like tens of thousands of dollars the other night, and nobody took it. So I don't
Is
think
it
so.
is it bad of me that I want it to be BallietBran? BallietBran, I want you to learn. I want you to become an expert in tattooing.
All right.
Become the world's best tattoo artist, right?
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey, hey, woo! Hey, yeah! Say hey, woo! Say hey, yeah! Say hey, hey! Woo! Stake that hex, 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 stake that hex. Hey! Every time I look up, price went up. I go to the store, come back. Price went up. Every time I look up, price went up. No matter what I do, price is still going up. Hell yeah. Ching, ching, motherfucker. Ching, ching. I am the book. Ching, ching, motherfucker. I just keep hitting jackpot after motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran.
Okay, what's up, everybody? It is BallietBran. Hope everybody is having a great Sunday. We already got a whole bunch of people in the chat and in the house. So good to see everybody. It's going to be a fun stream today. Initially, I thought I was going to be streaming yesterday, Saturday, but things changed and we're streaming today. So it'll be myself, IdentityBlock as well. He's in the backstage. We're going to be having him on in just a minute or two while I say hi to the chat real quick. And then Karim the Dream, him and myself in IdentityBlock. Karim's going to be joining us in about 30 minutes. So myself and IdentityBlock will just chill for a little bit. And then before I bring him on, let me just say hi to the chat real quick. Thank you, everybody, for just chilling out while the intro played. And I hope everyone's doing well. So Steven, it's my fishing blog. He says, does a little praise, does the top hat, and then does a little praise. And then Benny Blanco, good to see you, man. Or Benny Bilzerian, I guess, is the new nickname. Can't stop, won't stop, exactly. Crypto King, United States Navy, retiree, I guess. He's the gentleman that's been working with like High Impact Flicks, and then another person that was on Discord Syndicate this Friday. So shout out to him for doing a whole bunch of spreading of information to other people that are large influencers. So, and then Benny says, you are doing God's work. Yep. Crypto King. Yep. Totally. And yeah, so Old Man Hex is in the house as well. And then Colin as well. So shout out to actually Joe Hexotic. He did a stream this morning, like the Sunday service thing this morning. And then Cabana Crypto, Coffee. Those guys did another stream this afternoon. And then yesterday, I believe, or the day before, they did a stream as well. So good to see everybody. And then we do have some people on DLive as well that I have on my phone here. So yeah, whenever IdentityBlock, him and I we'll go live in just a second. But let's see. So is the screen supposed to be black? No, it's not. But on my end, it looks fine. So I think that's the only person that might be having that issue. So without further ado, let me get Identity in here. Yep. Got the thumbs up. So let's bring him on. What's up, Identity?
Oh, good. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, doing pretty good, man. And thanks for being up this time.
Love it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, today we're going to be having obviously yourself that just joined right now, and then Karim will kind of be coming on in about maybe 28 minutes from now, about 30 minutes from now. So, thanks for being able to come on last minute and whatnot. And I appreciated the last couple times that you and I have gone live, and today just for everybody that might not be familiar, it's just going to be myself, IdentityBlock, and then Karim for the most part. We're just going to keep it keep it consolidated. You know, maybe one more if that ends up working out, but otherwise it's just going to be us three amigos, three musketeers before Hexologist goes to live.
Love it.
Hell yeah, man. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's going pretty good, man. I've got a little bit of a schedule change where my weekdays are going to be opening up a little bit more in the evenings. So I might be doing a couple more late night hex streams, maybe in the evenings towards the weekdays. But on the weekends, you know, at least on Sundays, I'll be able to do my normal show around this time, and then maybe some other stuff too. But how about you? Anything new since we last talked?
Just keeping on with the markets, seeing what's going on with Legacy, seeing all the things that are coming out now out of the Wall Street bets and all that stuff. Reddit. I look at it almost as a psyop. Like, I really think that this is just, you know, this is same Wall Street just fighting Wall Street, and then they try to make it seem that it's a bunch of little guys fighting the big man, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's just, you know, Wall Street fighting Wall Street. And then what they're going to do is that type of news or headline always reminds me of then what started the Fed. Like, a lot of people don't remember, obviously, because it's been 100+ years. But in 1913, when the Fed started, it was basically because in 1907, several banks were, you know, colluding to create chaos. And then that's when all of a sudden, like, the little guy says, oh, yeah, sure, we need the Banking Act. We need all this regulation. And that's already what's happening. You can hear it on the news. They're already saying, oh, we need to regulate. And you're like, what? So no outsider trading, only insider trading? So that's the way I see it. I mean, I heard what Matty had to say, and this is like a new Occupy Wall Street. And I love Matty. I respect his opinion. But I don't see it. Like, I remember Occupy Wall Street. Everybody was like just gathering up in some random plaza in New York, but they didn't know who they were fighting. They were trying to fight Wall Street instead of fighting the Fed, fighting the banks, fighting big government. You know, so it's almost like we're doing it again. Like, right now, everybody that's thinking this is a good thing doesn't understand these hedge funds. And I'm not a hedge fund guy. I'm not. Don't make me think that I'm protecting them or anything that they do. But if they lose, it's older people with their pensions and retirement money, and that's what really, you know, because, you know, they're protected. So the 3 or 5 guys moving the levers over there in that hedge fund, nothing's going to happen. Like, back in the day, they would kill themselves because they would have that type of loyalty to their clients. Now they don't even do that. Now they just go to jail like Bernie Madoff, and a few weeks or months later, they call the authorities, and they're like, "Oh, can I get my sentence reduced? I only stole like a few $1 billion. Why am I in jail?" So I think that's exactly what's happening again. It's just guys that want regulation. You know, they collude, they do this, they make a little bit of money, and then they go to the regulators, and they're like, "Oh, we can't have this. We can't have people investing and talking." You know. So I really think that that's what's going to happen. It's like, in a few months, they're going to come up with some type of regulation for Robinhood, some type of regulation for all the other platforms that have been doing free or cheaper transactions. And it's what's going to happen. You know, all of a sudden, then the little guy is going to be limited. You can only buy $100 of so-and-so stock, or you cannot buy this stock, or you cannot do the other. Because, yeah, it's already being portrayed that way in the news, almost like this is like an attack on Wall Street. The poor little billionaires, they got screwed one day out of 365.
Totally. Yeah, you know, I really don't have like much to say or like much to add, I guess, kind of from what you're saying, because yeah, I wasn't really like old enough to remember like much of the, you know, Occupy Wall Street or anything like that. But you know, to your point, it definitely could be some sort of like, you know, anytime you've got chaos.
If you like to see something that it actually opened my eyes, because when that movement happened, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't living in Florida, working at Disney. It was like my first job outside of Puerto Rico. So I wasn't paying attention to what the markets were doing. I just remember living in a really nice area of Orlando called Hunters Creek, where like most houses are $250,000 and up. And then looking out the front of my house, and then in a street of 20 houses, maybe 8, 10 houses were either for rent or for sale. And then that kind of triggered something like something not right. But then when it came to Occupy Wall Street, if you want to watch a good video, Peter Schiff, if you type Peter Schiff, Occupy Wall Street, he was one of the people that, him being like one of the 1%ers, he went out and tried to talk to these people, try to understand what they were fighting for, what they were looking for. And you'd be surprised at some of the answers that they give. It's just they didn't know what they were going for. Like, they're basically just running around. They don't know who to fight. And I think that's pretty much what's happening now, because you see it on the posts. You see like everyone just saying, screw the hedge funds. We don't care. I want them to suffer. But what they don't understand is that the hedge fund is like 1 or most of the time 6 people, 10 people if it's a really big one on the top guys. But then they're not good. They don't care. You know, they're going to lose all these people's money, and then they're just they're going to go back to the office tomorrow. But then the little guy, they'll tell them, well, I know you had like 100K in your retirement account. Now you have 80. Now you have 60K. And those are the ones that really suffered. Those were the ones that suffered back in 2008, because the bailout didn't come for the little guy. The bailouts came for AIG. They got like $84 billion back in the day, when $84 billion was actually a lot of money. Now $84 billion is nothing. And that's the type of things that really shocked me, because the whole debt of Puerto Rico is $74 billion. So that's when I started understanding that the people don't have the power. It's the bankers. It's the people that move the levers, because they got to decide, well, we're not going to give $74 billion to a country, but we'll give $84 billion to a company. So that's the type of thing I kind of learned from like 2008 and all that stuff. And like, I think it's happening again. I think people trying to say, well, we're going to destroy all the hedge funds. Well, all that is going to happen is that they're going to put more regulations, and then in a few weeks they'll authorize this that they're doing. Like the whole switches that they're doing, the whole turning off buy orders for GME and for AMC and all those orders that they're doing, that's going to become normal, because they're going to say, oh, this was a target attack. And if we see any stock that it's being mentioned on Reddit, Facebook, Telegram, any type of platform, they're going to turn it off. Like a lot of people haven't mentioned this, but they've only mentioned the 2 stocks, but Robinhood turned off more than 50 stocks. And I haven't even been trading probably in the last few weeks. But then when I was trading, I wouldn't want to trade every single stock, because I wouldn't trade the movements. I wouldn't trade the swings. I would trade by dividend. So if I see the stock that is paying dividend that day, I'll short it. I'll pay, I'll buy it on the day before. I'll sell it. And every day I was making money. But I wasn't looking at the swings. I wasn't looking at volatility. I was just looking at what stocks pay dividend on what day. And then what if Robinhood just decides that they're going to switch that off too? So all of a sudden I can't even use the market rules. I have to, think about everything else. So I don't like it. If it's going to be a free market, it should be free. If not, then Robinhood shouldn't be making the type of money that they're making. Because a lot of people don't know it either, but they've made like $1 billion in the last week. And that's not being commented. They're making money, but then they're not letting other people make money. And that, in my mind, is punishable.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you got like the little bit that I do know is similar to like cryptocurrency exchange or even like the shorts and whatnot on Wall Street. Like on the opposite end of that trade, the exchanges can at least see where the stops are, or like where the actual orders are, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, to your point, that's definitely something that could come out of it, order out of chaos type deal, like a regulation out of the like the people manipulating the stocks and whatnot. But it's interesting nonetheless. I mean, it's it's definitely causing like a stir and whatnot, and I'm actually curious to see like if Karim has any opinions on that, I guess, when he comes in too. But nonetheless, it's definitely been some sort of like stir up So I think that's I don't know. Do you think that's bullish or bearish for crypto, or more regulation, or what are your thoughts? Does it have any relation to crypto?
That's a great question, Brand. Actually, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore what's bullish or not when it comes to regulation, because every time I hear regulation for crypto, I'm like, I've been dealing with regulation with crypto since 2014. That's 7 years now. But a lot of people, every time I hear someone say, "Oh, I want more regulation," I automatically think that they have a hidden agenda. Because you're like, well, there was regulation in 2014. There was regulation updated in 2018. Now this year they try to do the stable coin and the KYC for the wallets that were outside of certain exchanges. So there's always regulation, and then the regulation from 2014 that the IRS set, it doesn't go away. It just gets updated. I talked to the lady that did all the updates, Susan Zeno. She works at the IRS up in Washington, and I called her 2018 because I discovered the wash sale rule, and I was like, well, you can sell all your crypto on December 31st. By it January 1st, you basically have absolutely no volatility in the 6 to 12 hours that you would be able to do it. But then you're able to claim thousands and thousands of dollars. And then the sad part is, like, the people that are doing it are not the little guy. It's the big guys doing all the trades. They do all those claims, they get all those credits, but then the little guy just says taxation is theft, and then they just don't even report it. And but I mean, I talked to her, and I remember telling her, I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, I could probably play that call. I have it on this, and I want you to hear, like, whenever I told her that that I found that, and I felt that it was like I found something. I found like gold, but she was like, "Oh no, we know." There.
Taxpayers to do FIFO, but there's nothing saying like, "Oh, you have to use the basis of this coin because we want you to report all gains first." That's not the case. So you can't if a taxpayer is able to specifically identify a particular
unit or
asset, that is perfectly, within their right.
Awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I to be honest, I just didn't. For a second, I was like, maybe the service does it. I mean, are they? I just thought that it was in the IRS or the Treasury's best interest to know specifically. I mean, I know that it would obviously work more for someone that's trying to do nefarious acts and all that type of situation, but then eventually I figured that that's where it would go. I always say that when the IRS or the government comes up with a rule, there's always someone with 5 loopholes for that rule or trying to figure them out.
That's true, for sure. But, right, and, again, we would just encourage you to keep records and substantiate for purposes if they got on audit.
Okay. I'm telling my clients around 7 years. Is that a good time frame? Should I tell them more or less?
No, 7 years is a good time frame. Okay. I think on a rule of thumb, usually it's 3. Okay. But, I mean, 7
that was pretty much it. I mean, the stuff that we talked about. The point was, when I tell her, I thought it was in the IRS best interest, because I remember thinking at that point what I wanted is that cryptocurrency or traders to be in the best, at least my clients in the best standing. Because I remember thinking at one point what they're going to do is they're going to start coming after all of my clients. They're going to say oh, well, you've been doing crypto, you've been doing this, that, the other, and you're not reporting it the right way. But then when I talked to her, she was like, nope, as long as you have a record and we can see what you were trying to do, it doesn't have to look perfect. So all this scare tactics or whatever, I mean, but then again, they play with those rules. They play with the regulations. And when I talked to her that day, I remember thinking, wow, all these regulations are almost to scare people, out of crypto. So it's probably just going to be the same. They're going to try to scare people out of using Robinhood.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that's happened a lot. Just in general, is manipulation for other people's benefit. I mean, I've had people talk to me about, like, even when Bitcoin was dropping from like 44 to like 30 something, like, oh, this is the end of Bitcoin, and I kind of just showed them like the Bitcoin like obituary thing, but I mean, yeah, that definitely exists, and I don't know. At the end of the day, I really don't know what's going on, but all I can kind of do is just have control over my own self and my own assets, and own hedges against other stuff that I can't control.
That's why we're in the best product right now. Being in Hex right now, it's like we don't need to care what the markets are doing. As long as we know that Hex is, T-shirts are making us more Hex, and we're just doing that passive income without like struggling with all the stuff that has happened right now in Wall Street. I mean, it's crazy to look at Hex price and see all that stuff that's happening over there and all that, distortion, and nothing is touching us. We're just accumulating more and more and more. And then people are just gonna join the party late, like everything.
Exactly. And then yeah, as far as Karim goes, just a little side off. He said he's running a little bit late. He had something come up with work, so he might be a little bit late. But anyways, just wanted to let everyone know for that. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, you've kind of had more experience and maybe a better say than I do as far as that goes. But for me, I'm like completely out of traditional stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, like it's the when it comes to regulation and all this stuff, it's how people take it. Like, they need to understand Bitcoin's not going nowhere, Hex is not going nowhere, so any regulation is not going to change. But then again, all those institutions, they know that every time that they create something new, either they create, how they did in a lot of people don't remember, but when Bitcoin hit 19.5 or whatever it hit on December of 17, that same December of 17, that's when Trump added the tax breaks. It was like work, tax cut, break, something like that. It was a big old mumbo jumbo, and then they just switch a little bit of just a few words that all of a sudden made Bitcoin that you had to report absolutely everything. You switch it, you move it, you look at it. And again, Bitcoin keeps going up. So it's just whoever listened to that, they sold all their Bitcoin that they bought all the way to 19K, and then they lost all the way to 3K. It took that 1 year in 2018. They would have held. Now they're 1x up. But if they sold, then, and most of the time it's because of that. It's because they'll listen to certain government agencies, or they'll listen to Jimmy Dimon saying that Bitcoin is this, or they'll listen to Warren Buffett saying that Bitcoin is rat poison square. But what's Bitcoin done the last 2 years compared to Berkshire Hathaway? So it's like they'll talk, they'll say whatever they say, but we always have to look at how they act. What are they like? Like if you talk to Warren Buffett, he doesn't like gold, but then this year he bought gold. Like, like even if it's in paper, like I always say. But so they're not even acting as they normally have in the past. So we just, in my opinion, now what I do is like I always look at what they're doing this week. Because the other ones that are doing is this guy Saylor, this guy Raul Paul. It's like they all got into Bitcoin last week, and all of a sudden everybody's giving them all these prices. And you're like, you're late. You're late. You got in a pump. You got your 1x pump, and now they're going. Like you can see on their tweets. Like now they've become like their little influencers, just saying like, oh, what's the next one? Raul Paul last week or something was saying like, what are the next 10 altcoins? So you're like, oh, really? That's when you reduce yourself now to. And in my opinion, they're just going to be a bunch of chillers. They're just going to try to get their buddies now to be like, yeah, put my Bitcoin that I bought at 20K, put it at 100K, and then just buy my bag. And I don't have no respect for that, because obviously the people that are reading their text and their tweets, they don't see between the lines. They don't see that they're obviously talking about 3, 5, 10 years down the road. But they're almost talking like, sure, let's do this. Let's pump Bitcoin to 100K. And then I just don't like that. That type of individual, they have a lot of influence. They get called to all these networks and give their opinions, and then they just wreck people. Same people that were telling.
Yeah. It's totally true. I mean, you know, my grandparents and a lot of people in the older generations, you know, a lot of them, at least from the people that I know, primarily get their news from like just one source, and it's, you know, cable television, and there's a lot of bias and motivation behind it. But you know, at the end of the day, like my grandpa the other day was like, Bran, you know, what's this hex thing and what's this crypto thing, and it's sometimes it's kind of hard to when someone has a paradigm of like, oh yeah, Bitcoin is rat poison squared, or like, you know, these things, it's kind of hard to like talk people off that that extreme analogy, you know. And but to your point, I mean, just like in you know, you mentioned like the recession and whatnot. I think Narda, when he came on, mentioned that even himself or someone that he knew like had their actual, I think it was like the 401k, like the value of that or something, go like down from like hundreds of thousands to like thousands or something. And it happens a lot in those cycles where consolidation goes upwards, you know.
Oh yeah, they get those haircuts, and now the thing is, most of them that are going to get these haircuts, they're not even going to see them, because the haircuts are going to be combating inflation and all the other, you know, all the other mumbo jumbo that they're doing to print all these trillions of dollars. So most people are not even going to understand what's happening. They saw their 401k go from 100k to 60k in the March dump, and now it's back up. But they don't understand that between they dumped and they're up now, $6-7 trillion have been injected into the economy. So it's not the same number anymore. You know, for them to have the same purchasing power, that 401k would probably have to show 180, 160, and it's not. It's showing the same 100k. So a lot of people are not going to understand. They're going to be like, oh, sure, I'm in the same spot, I'm happy. But they got robbed. They got robbed purchasing power.
In your opinion, since I kind of don't really like know what to say, like in your opinion, what is the best thing that like your average folk can do? You know, like what's the best thing that they can do to protect themselves against, you know, something like what, you know, what might be going on?
Well, I mean, it's buying something outside of the US dollar, buying something outside of the economy that's messing. The problem is other years, other countries were doing other stuff. So if one country was printing, the other country was consolidating, or was, you know, was bumping up the interest rates so that people start saving. But now it's like everyone's printing at the same time. Australia, Japan, England, the US, they're all printing at the same time. So they're all devaluing us at the same time. And I mean, I would recommend anyone to be buying gold and silver. But then the thing is, gold and silver is also being manipulated. I mean, at least it saves you your purchasing power. So if you buy it on the first of the year, at the end of the year, you're probably going to be able to sell it for either the same amount or a little bit more with premium. And then that's going to at least keep your money equally. But I mean, centralized exchanges, anything paper gold, paper Bitcoin, paper silver, I wouldn't touch any of that, because any of that, at the point that you might need it, it might take a month, it might take 2 weeks for you to get that liquidated and on your account. Plus, you're paying all these fees. Plus, it's being inflated up to wazoo, because I mean, you ask the Fed, and the Fed is like, "Oh, well, we're going to focus on 2%." Well, really? So you're going to lower it? Because they're trying to tell us that it's under 2%. But I mean, anyone going out and buying their groceries know that they're not paying 2% more than last year. They're paying way more than that. So
sure,
I would recommend an asset like Hex that you get to control it. So you get to decide what you're going to do. You get to put it to the future, and you're going to get your ROI out of that move. And the other thing, if you have the space and the security, you hold your own gold and silver. Because the other thing, a lot of people don't buy it, but they either have it on paper in Wall Street where they can manipulate it and not give it to you at one point, or they have it on some vault and then they're paying every other month. So, I mean, I would just buy a bunch of silver and a bunch of bullets, and then that would probably be safe for anything, because you have it on yourself, you control it, and then if you need security, you protect it yourself.
You know, I totally know what you mean, and even someone like myself that, I mean, I'm only 24, but even like a few years back, like before I got into cryptocurrency, had been studying silver and precious metals and things like that with a coworker that I worked with. Like I was like 18, and he was like 60, but he had owned a silver and gold shop, you know, like a decade before, and him and I were kind of in similar opinions that, yeah, you know, maybe not just go all the way in one basket, but kind of have, you know, a couple different hedges, whether you mention like physical or things like this. But even nonetheless, the actual asset of silver, to your point, hasn't really, you know, it's at least kind of kept its purchasing power, and things like bullets, dude. I know, like just the common ammunition, you know, pistol or rifle has gone up significantly.
Yeah,
significantly.
For sure. Imagine anyone that just stock up in ammo the last like 2 years. I mean, now they're just sitting comfortable because they don't need any more, and then they're not hit by that up that it took in the last few. Because now it's like if you find it, buy it, even if it's a little, you know, a 50 bucks of 9mm or something. But
Right.
I mean, what I see is if you control it, you don't have to deal with anything, because what we were closing the other day when we were talking with Joe, I was letting everyone know it doesn't have to be what's happening in Lebanon or Venezuela, you know, where people might have the money, but they don't have somewhere to go buy food, or they don't have a way of spending. Like, it doesn't have to be that bad. It could be that you have your money, it's in an ATM, and then you go to the ATM, and then the ATM is down or something like that. So it not necessarily has to be an extreme, but then we always have to be a little bit diversified. You know, we have to have, you know, in case if something happens to the bank, I have a little bit of silver. I can take it to the pawn shop, get something, and at least I can eat. If not, I have my crypto. But then again, you know, anything could happen, especially if you're in a centralized exchange, because a lot of people, they'll count on Robinhood, they'll count on Coinbase, they'll count on Binance. And it's all gonna be what the big dogs tell them. So if it's the SEC or whoever, if they, you know, they get new rules, you have to jump through all their hoops. And what I'm thinking is that that's probably what's gonna happen. Like all these people that make money in Robinhood, they're gonna have problems selling it or collecting on that money, especially if they thought they were getting their keys or something. Because I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing I can speak on and can agree with is at the end of the day, all you really have is control over yourself. And, you know, you mentioned with things like a Hex, we at least know that there's not like a Fed Reserve behind it that's inflating the hell out of it. Like, you know, when I've mentioned in the past that my grandparents gave myself and, you know, my brothers and whatnot savings bonds, well, that went from $25 to $50 over 15 years. But the thing that, you know, that I wasn't counting in at the time, at the age that I was cashing them in 15 years later, it was the fact that inflation exists. And, you know, to your point, there's constant manipulation and lies being told on like how much inflation's happening and things like this. But at the end of the day, if you with things like Hex, there's no middlemen. It's a smart contract that's audited. We know the inflation rate. We know these things. And with things like physical silver or, you know, ammunition, whatever asset it is that you're investing in, the least that you can have, if you can have the least amount of like counterparty or like middleman between you and the actual asset itself, then I think that's, you know, probably the most secure and risk adverse. But that's just my opinion for what's going on in the future.
That's a great point, because right now that's the best or the biggest problem that we're having. We're not having the problems of 2013 and 2012 where nobody knew how to buy Bitcoin. They had to go to Mt. Gox and then risk it that way. Now we have all these ways to getting in, but the problem is there's not many places to get out. And that's where they're going to get us. You know, they're going to get us where I've had that problem where like Coinbase, every so often they say, well, that card, I don't want it anymore. Or I don't want to use your bank account, or I don't want this or that or the other. And then I get stuck. I have to start using all these other exchanges. Instead of using a 3-4% fee, then I'm paying like 14-12% or something just to get some ETH to trade into Hex. So those little things, I mean, and I mean, those I don't count anymore because, I mean, I can just claim them in the taxes and then I get them back that way. They're just kind of annoying. But that type of thing, I might know that, but the average person doesn't. So the second that they say like, oh, 13% or this high gas fee, I don't want to pay a gas fee. But in like 2 or 3 years, they would understand that not only they pay for the gas fee, they got their HEX, and then they can claim it in their taxes. So then it's like you're doing moves. But then if you decide, no, well, I don't want to buy a penny HEX or less than a penny HEX, then, because I don't want to spend $20, and they'll end up paying, for a 50-cent HEX.
It's true. I mean, I know people like yourself, and honestly, I don't know much about it, so I'd love to talk sometime, off stream about it. But I know there are ways to, just like businesses have write-offs, there's different things that you can do, maybe, as far as gas fees that people might gripe about in the short term. At the end of the day, Richard's mentioned it, yourself has mentioned it, and even myself, like if you're in control of the asset the whole time and you're not involving yourself with that third party, that middleman, then the fee might be a little bit higher, but that's what you're paying for, is that service of not needing to route through something or someone that could just fuck you and hold on to the funds the whole time, or demand a whole bunch of information and then maybe give it back to you. So to your point, and Richard's mentioned it before, that crypto was kind of designed to get away from counterparty and more peer-to-peer, but with the current state of the system, we're not all the way there yet. Like there's kind of like a slow transition that's happening. So at the end of the day, you kind of have to work with what you got and update your worldview to what's going on currently.
For sure. I mean, that's a good thing about Uniswap and all these other DeFi exchanges that are coming out. I mean, they're going to push them to either adapt, or we're going to have to leave them in the dust. Like I heard Occidental say this not that long ago, one of the streams, saying he pretty much said that. They either need to get to us, or they're going to be left. And I mean, that's what it needs to happen. We need to little by little stop using Coinbase, stop using Robinhood, stop using all these exchanges that they're giving us like fake service. Because look at that. At the moment that somebody figure it out or figure a way of like gaining the system, they're like, oh, we'll shut you down. And I don't think that's cool or fair. Obviously GME is not worth $400. I mean, everybody that's gone to a GameStop in the last like 2 years know that place it's survived on his history mostly. But if someone, in my mind, if a group got together and they think that GME, it could be maybe a nostalgia. It could be that they don't want it to go the blockbuster route. And they want to pump it. It should be a free market. And then whoever doesn't do the research and doesn't understand why this stock is pumping all this, even up to 1,000 as they wanted it to take it, they should get wrecked. It's the same that happens with crypto. If you're jumping in on Doge because you thought that it was going to get to $1 because you're so stupid that you think that everyone that's bought Doge in the last like 5 years is not going to dump on your head, that's on you. Because, I mean, of course it could go to $1, but then everyone that's bought Doge in the last like few years that had it on their portfolio, they dumped on all these people. I mean, so it's people need to understand what's going on, and if they're trying to get rich quick, they should be accountable for what's coming after. So totally, that's what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to buy GME at $300, $400. In 2 weeks, that stock is going to be worth $40, $30, and it's going to be all this crying and whining to the SEC. Oh, what happened? What happened? I just opened my Robinhood account and it said that it had jumped 300% in like 5 minutes, so I needed to buy at $300. But then you're like, but did you check? Did you check what was going on? Did you check that was a target stock? So I like free markets. So in my mind, I just don't like that much regulation. And the more people keep saying that, oh, well, crypto just needs more regulation. No, it doesn't, because if you look at Portugal, they don't tax, and it's flourishing over there. Malta, don't tax. It's flourishing over there. Same with Singapore. All these countries that have little taxation on crypto or no taxation, they're flourishing. Germany, Singapore, all of those places are becoming like crypto havens or whatever. Like that's what I wanted to happen in Puerto Rico. Like whenever I went to Puerto Rico in 2018, I was talking to two friends of mine that are senators and trying to tell them, guys, there's no clear position from the government. I was trying to tell them, don't create any more laws. Just say, come here. You guys are going to be safe. Because most of the people that were taking on the Act 2022, they were involved in some way in crypto. So I kept telling them, you're not going to bring as many people as you want. If you're telling them, come here because we're giving you all these benefits, but then you don't clarify that the asset that they're dealing with is safe in Puerto Rico. It's almost like they want it like up in the air, and then people just show up. And a lot more people have shown up than I thought they would, because that clarification never came. And now Wyoming did one. I know a few other states that they've been working on it, and just telling people, hey, we want you here. We want you deal with crypto, deal whatever, do your KYC, but bring me some money.
Totally, man. Yeah, I agree. You know, I need to do more research and maybe like, you know, with people like yourself that kind of have more of that knowledge, or people like, you know, Gary funding Jim kind of have more knowledge on like the taxation side that I think might be able to, I don't know, provide value to the average person that might be scared of what's going on, or, you know, might not know how to kind of do the write-offs and things like that. So,
yeah, I mean, like
it's
for
good
Hexicans,
information.
it needs to happen, because the problem that other people didn't have with Bitcoin or ETH or other coins is that they would get it, make 5-6%, and then sell 5-6% and sell. The fact that we're locked up in T-shares and stakes means that we're going to make way more money than the average coin has in the past. So that means we're going to make obviously way much more taxes. So if we can set ourselves up in a good situation, we can say 5, 10. I mean, the situation in Puerto Rico, if we do it right, I mean, we would only be paying like 4% in taxes. And where I am in Missouri, I mean, if I sell a short sell, they hit me hard. So I mean, 4% in taxes it's very, very cheap. And I mean, that would be the main point. Like, why would you want to invest if you don't know how much you're going to pay in taxes in a few years? So anyone those 5 years, 10 years, they should. It's my personal recommendation. Start learning into crypto taxes. I have a few videos on the IdentityBlock YouTube channel. Most of them are in Spanish, but what I'm going to do is like the 5 or 10 that I have in English that are tax related, I'm just going to do a playlist and share it, because it's eye opening how much it is. And like I said, the fact is that we're looking at the average person that I work with, they do short trades. So they get shafted. But on our side, we're going to need to prepare, because we're going to have 5-10 years of gains. So it's actually a really good position, because that's 5-10 years that we don't pay those taxes. They're locked. They're you know. So Hex it's such a cool product. Once people understand like all the benefits, the real benefits of you controlling your own keys, controlling your own product, controlling the time frame that you want to lock it up, and then the fact that you save that money in taxes. Because if you have Bitcoin for the next 10 years, you have to report it. Even if you hold it, if it went up, you better tell Uncle Sam, because they're going to come after you. Especially with the new changes that they've been doing, they just put this little one-liners. They did one last year, but it was like very broad. It was mostly like, did you at any point in 2019 use cryptocurrency? But that was more like, did you see it? Did you whatever? And now it's like they're asking you, like, do you have any? Do you are you dealing with crypto? And I know that a lot of people are going to hit no on that question. And then in the future, that's when you get screwed, because they'll come back and they'll check, oh, looks here that you made like so much in Bitcoin, but you never reported it.
So can you maybe explain for those, obviously, you don't want to lie and end up getting audited and end up getting fucked, but can you I mean, and obviously, I know you're not like a financial advisor or tax advisor, things like that, but like, say for like your average Joe that, I don't know, maybe it did make a little bit of money for the first time in like hex gains or something, like what is the without like, is the best option like moving to Puerto Rico, or like can you start up an LLC and like I don't know, I guess like what's the best way to maybe like, you know, for someone, you know, this year or something, like what is the best way to go about that, you know, while being compliant?
The best
and not,
move would be probably then move to Portugal, move to a place with zero taxes, because then if you compare it to Puerto Rico, zero obviously is less than 4. But the idea is to at least be prepared. Like if you already set up 4 or 5 year stakes, then you know that when you're going to remove or take, even if you're going to take a portion of those gains, or if you're going to go ahead and then just if you're going to restake, then it doesn't matter. You'll deal with your taxes then. But the idea, what I would suggest is start looking. So there's states with no Washington is a state with no income tax. So it might not look like much, but then if you're saving 5-6%, it's something. And then again, if you're thinking longer, you know, or a bigger amount, just think about it. If somebody made $1 million in hex, and if they can get charged 30% compared to 4%, you know, I mean, it's a lot of money. You can save $250,000, and
huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's just in my opinion, like hex gives us that time frame that we can just look in the future and be like, well, in 5 years, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to cash out. With Bitcoin, you buy it today, and at the end of the year, you have to say, well, I bought it at this price, I sold it at this price, or I have it at this price now. This is how much I made, or this is how much I lost. So those, I'm telling you, I'm super surprised that hasn't kicked more into the crypto world. And nobody has mentioned that with Hex, the fact that, hey, if you locked up your money, like all these big whales that are locking up their money, 555, they're doing it for tax reasons. You know, because if you're putting away $1 million for 15 years, that's a lot of money that you're saving in taxes, a lot. And then if at the end of the stakes, you get back this big old chunk of money too, then what you do is year 14, move to Puerto Rico, pay 4%. Thank you, Uncle Sam. And I mean, they need to know how to use Hex, because if not, they're just going to think this is just another coin or another whatever. But it's life-changing gains if you know how to use them.
That's cool. And so is it similar, like you mentioned, if you had like a Cuatro Cinco stake before doing that on year 14, moving to the, like, is that what you could just do, is like 14 years after the stake was done, maybe a year and a half before it was due, you could just move to Puerto Rico and realize it there?
The way Puerto Rico is, I mean, that I'm not 100%, because I know that they do have like a variable where if you make certain amount of money somewhere else, they're going to make you pay it over there. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to recommend as many people to move early, because I know that it's the way it's set up right now is grandfathered until 2035. But I've seen the Treasury call Puerto Rico other times and tell them, remove this or cancel that. Like right now, they're trying to cancel this law. It's called like law like 164 or 154, and it's giving Puerto Rico right now like $4 billion or something. It's giving a big chunk of money from all these companies, and they already told them not to count with that money, because at any point in time, the Treasury is just going to remove that credit. And it's, you know, like most of the companies are probably just going to have get out of Puerto Rico. Like it's happened before. So the way I see it, if you're already there, they have to honor that commitment. You have to be grandfathered in all the way to 2030. So me personally, I'm going to try to do it now in 2021 and just spend my 6 months in the island, my 183. And then after you spend at least 183 days, you get acclimated to the island, you do business there. Your main house is in Puerto Rico. You have a business, or you have a business account. And then that's how it is. But my biggest concern is that they'll cancel this benefit, because Puerto Rico has to do everything by what the state says. And in this case, is whatever the Treasury Department tells the IRS to tell Puerto Rico. So, yeah.
Someone in the comments actually asked a question. So Hex King says, most places you still have to pay wealth tax on the staked hex, right?
It depends, yeah. I mean, there's places that they'll charge you because for some places, crypto is a property. For some places, crypto is a currency. For some places, crypto is so depending on how is, I know that in Australia, I was talking one day on our rec stream, and they get taxed over there differently too. In the States, it's pretty much if you buy it for $1 and you sell it for $2, you report that $1 that you made, and that's your gain. But then every state is different. That's why I said, not automatic. I would say Puerto Rico. I always say Puerto Rico because that's where my family is. That's where I was born. I lived there for 23 years and then moved to the States. So I'm going back home no matter what with Hex, no Hex.
That's cool.
But for anyone in the States, I haven't seen any other place in the States that gets even close. I mean, depending on where you go, then you have to pay taxes on the state level, federal. I mean, if the county has some type of property, they could go after it if they really wanted to. It's just I'm sure they're probably so broke that they wouldn't want to follow every crypto holder on the county level. But I'm sure by the law, the way it's set up, and Bitcoin being set up as property, I'm sure they could if they wanted to. So if they wanted to come after your property, you probably have to pay, on your boat, your car, and on your Bitcoin.
One thing I've heard RG3 mention, and a lot of people as well that kind of know how everything works is not only is like the death and taxes thing like kind of like guaranteed as people say and whatnot, like the guarantees of life, but as far as cryptocurrency goes, and even Richard's mentioned a little bit kind of on this, but as far as like having these kinds of what people would consider like problems, like, oh, I got to do this, got to do that. Well, I think a lot of people that were maybe in crypto before, maybe even before Hex, might not have had these problems, right? Like, oh, you didn't even make a gain, or lost a whole bunch on these other ones. But I think it's cool that someone like yourself at least has a little bit of knowledge that you can kind of share anecdotally and set yourself up now, as opposed to like procrastinating and like getting screwed over later and being like, oh fuck, now I'm being audited, or now this is happening to me and I'm trying to play catch up, as opposed to just like setting up a structure the right way the first time. So I think those things are important to consider, because at the end of the day, Richard's mentioned like it'd be cool to just sell crypto out of your front yard type deal, but it's not that way. You mentioned, fiat on ramps or even fiat off ramps, like that shit's just directly correlated, and exchanges have been subpoenaed before. So, you really got to not try and, hide too much, because you're going to get popped and going to get fucked eventually. And anyways, if you can set yourself up for failure, or if you can set yourself up for success now instead of failure in the future, I think that's the safest way to go about your gains and still be able to enjoy your gains, Yeah.
That's the main thing that I do when I recommend people to go to Puerto Rico. I have a video also about that. I shared it with Ryan the other day. We might do a live stream tomorrow with Ryan, and we might discuss it.
Oh, nice.
So I'm trying to let people know that's an option, but then it's been taken in the past, and I know that it could happen again. So you want to make sure that you're doing it now, as in like if you're planning on going to Puerto Rico, think 2021, 2022, because even if it's available till 2035, let's say that in 2 years they need some money. Like the economy is bad, so every so often they look for all these places so they can get money, or then they can cancel a credit so they can all of a sudden get a little bit more taxes that way. And I mean, on our case, it might just look like they might just say, "Oh well, it's 4% now, and now you have to pay 8." If you made $100,000, then all of a sudden you're giving away at $4,000 when you could have just do it and then So that's pretty much what I try to do, because I feel that not much communication happens when it comes to the retail investors. They go to Coinbase. At the end of the year, they get their 1099. They just hack it. They throw it out in the trash. They don't care. But the IRS get that 1099 too. So you're gonna file an incomplete return, and eventually they're gonna screw you over. So I mean, what you need to do is just put yourself in a good tax situation so that when you pay your taxes, you're more than happy. I mean, right now, I can't wait to go to Puerto Rico and pay taxes on my HEX gains, because I know I'm going to be so much better than if I stay in Missouri.
That's cool. And someone does have a comment in the chat. Let me click on it real quick. So Crypto Ewok, good to see you, by the way. But he says, I heard something at one point about an LLC, limited liability company from Delaware, paying very little in taxes. Any idea what that was about?
That could have been a Delaware situation. Like if Delaware has some type of arrangement with their people that they tell them, because that's what Puerto Rico has. And I've heard Gary mention it a few times. Like Puerto Rico, we were in a really bad rut in 2011, 2010, everything from 08. So in 2012, the governor, that's pretty much what they said. Let's do this Act 2022. Bring a bunch of people here. They only pay 4% on their business and on their gains. And then they can save all these extra credits that they would have, save on all these extra taxes that they would have paid in the States. So maybe that's something that Delaware had. Maybe Delaware had something where they tell them, okay, just pay the federal, don't pay me state, or pay only this amount, or pay that, or pay the other, because it's all arranged to do. Like right now, in my opinion, the best place to go is Portugal, because Portugal doesn't have crypto to crypto access. So you can actually live out on crypto and save if you are using fiat, because if you're doing a crypto, you go to a place that accepts crypto, you do your transaction, it's crypto to crypto, you don't pay the tax. And I mean, depending on how much it is, let's say it's 3-4%, you do $1,000 transaction, you save a bunch of money,
Okay. Well, thank you, man. That's very informative, and thank you, by the way, for coming on too, man. I appreciate being able to chit chat with you.
I was in the chat trolling everyone, so I love it, bro.
It's cool, man. We got a like a big community and Hexican family type deal, and the cool thing that I'm the youngest of 3 older brothers, so I've and I know Joe is the youngest too. He's got more siblings than I do, but the cool thing that I've always realized is like the friends that I can really call friends, or like my brothers that them and I are really close. You can always like troll with them or joke with them, like those are the ones that you can joke with the most. So it's cool that we have that in Hex. But little bit of a different note, but similar topic that we were covering earlier. So El Hexadente, he had a question. So he said, exactly. Yeah, it's cool. He's been on streams a lot lately, so it's been good to see him. But he says, can Identity talk on hard silver versus paper silver? So physical versus paper.
That's my thing. I love it. Me personally, I wouldn't touch anything paper silver. I mean, nothing. I mean, all year, this year, all I could hear from guys like Big Swear and all the guys, big guys, Mike Maloney and Schiff, that there was going to be issues with the COMEX. Like COMEX were going to have liquidity problems and not going to be able to pay. But what people don't understand is most of these contracts, they're not paid in silver. They're paid in fiat. So even if they think that they're going to be liquidated in silver, or they were supposed to, most of these people, they'll buy all these contracts. They're supposed to receive like thousands of ounces of silver. And the COMEX just doesn't have it. A lot of people don't know that. But if they were to like cancel all those contracts, especially when it was really high in like August, I think August went over $30. COMEX, like, we're gonna have the line. We're gonna have the line of people just waiting there for the silver to get put out of the ground. Because I think that's how bad the situation is. I don't think it's a situation of, oh, wait a second, I'll call my buddy up in England and I'll have him send me a truckload of or a boatload of silver. I think the amount of silver that they would need, to start pumping up silver. So I wouldn't touch it, because I know there's going to be one day that a lot of people are going to go ask for their silver, and it's not going to be like it's been this year. Like I know this year there were people waiting for the silver more than 60 days. Because again, it's, you know, if you cancel one of these contracts, it's not like they're going to send you a box of you know, or a 20 roll of you know, silver rounds. They're going to send you a freaking armored truck with armored guys to your house, you know, or whatever location bought it. But then, so I tell everyone just buy their silver. I always buy from like this place called like AP Max, American Precious Metal Exchange.
Yeah.
I've never had issues. I've been buying from them since like 2012. They send it to my house in a little, you know, it looks all, you don't know what you're getting. It's getting like a little heavy box. And just like that, there's like JB and all kinds of precious metal dealers. So my personal opinion is if you find someone that would have a very low premium, but let's say that silver's like, I haven't checked silver price in the last like 2 weeks. Let's say silver's like 26, 25 bucks. If you're finding someone that's selling it to you for like 28, 29, just rip their hand off. You know, just don't complain about it. It's basically the same thing that we have with Hex. Everyone complains about the gas fees. They always complain about the premiums. But what people don't understand, this $30 that you're paying, it's what covers finding the silver, doing the exploration, drilling it, cleaning it, minting it. You know what I mean? So technically, you're not paying that much because you're not getting. There you go. There you go. That's what I recommend everyone is hold it yourself because, I mean, unless you're buying like freaking silver bars, like 1,000-ounce silver bars or something. But if you're just buying rounds and you have $3,000 of silver, you know, 200-300 ounces, just keep them yourself. You know, just do that over going to Wall Street because it's just I don't buy it. I always hear those rumors that silver's gonna pump and everything's gonna be so great and blah blah blah, but I just don't buy silver for the insurance. You know, it's like if shit hits the fan, if the bank doesn't have any cash in the ATM, and this and the other, I still have my coins that I know someone will accept them and give me some food for it. But yeah, I try to look at silver in a different light. I don't see it as even as an investment. I just almost see it as insurance.
Totally, and yeah, we got some more people in the chat, kind of agreeing that's where I got like, you know, I purchased a handful of silver back in the day, and AppMex, yeah, AP MEX was one of them, and the other one was like JM Bullion, I believe. But to your point, okay, yeah, you know, to your point, just like when it comes to like I was in silver and precious metals before getting into cryptocurrency, and that's why like Litecoin at the time and like Bitcoin at the time, you know, being analogous, at least from what I was reading, to like digital gold and like digital silver, like really, you know, was a turn on. But at the end of the day, when it comes to things like private keys and holding on to like cold storage, it's almost similar with crypto, where there's some people I know that are like they are putting all their eggs in one basket in like the counterparty basket, where it's like, oh, you know, this is just so much easier. I can, you know, try and sell here and there. But at the end of the day, when it comes to crypto, I've been a part of exchanges like Cryptopia, you know, like had a, you know, 1,000 or something like that, you know, just get completely shut down. So like, you know, to your point about like the physicality of it, like it's almost, it's, you know, don't put all your eggs in like either or, but at the end of the day, for me personally, it is kind of like comfortable to realize like, oh, you know, my Hex is on like a Trezor hardware wallet that's in cold storage, and, you know, the keys aren't on the computer and the passphrase isn't on the computer. So things like that to protect yourself and hedge yourself.
And those are the things that we can control. You know what I mean? Because now that you mentioned crypto, I was probably one of the few that used crypto to buy Prime Coin back in the day because I wanted to get Bitcoin Prime. I was in that boat with Richard. We were following Red and everything that all they were saying. Almost everyone was buying Prime Coin on Poloniex or whatever. I stopped using Poloniex when they took out the first time that they took their this little troll chat or whatever they called it. And they removed it for a while, so I stopped using them, and I was using Cryptopia for that. And I remember, I mean, it wasn't much money by the time it was because XPM had dropped so much. But yeah, That's why I tell everyone that the importance of holding your keys or holding your silver in your own hand, because imagine, like you said, that's what you can control. But imagine that you do everything right, you made the right deal, you did in FOMO trade, you got your gains, and then Cryptopia shuts down. You know, so it's what's the point? You did everything right, but then you still got screwed.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of, and at the end of the day, the most raw information is going to be from the source itself, like not just like someone else that's just, you know, spitting BS, or like the quote unquote influencers. Because, you know, even Hexologist, I've seen a lot of his streams with Richard, and even gone back to listen to him. And one of the fallacies that he was sold upon, like in the beginning of Bitcoin, was that like Bitcoin was like anonymous and stuff like this. And it's like, no, like you know, there's just it's not the case. But you know, to your point. I think that's
the first
cool.
time I heard about Bitcoin. I remember hearing that, and I remember thinking Bitcoin was probably made by the CIA. Like I always, this is gonna sound like way off the rails, but sure. I always thought that when Gavin Andresen went to the CIA, it was just pretty much that was just to go back to the people that made it. You know, like they probably hired Satoshi or hired Dave Kleiman or hired even Craig Wright. Like I wouldn't be surprised that they were all involved. And Hal Feeney too, but they were probably like hired by, you know, someone up. Because always people talk about Bitcoin, but I mean there was eCash, so I mean David Chum had to be involved with Bitcoin too, or at least obviously they used a bunch of this stuff to create Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is just, I mean, everyone that loves that story that Satoshi's this one person and da 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 da, it's cool, but I think that it was a bunch of people. Like way more than the 3 or 4 people that they think.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, it's yeah. I've heard it all too. You know, like yeah, that. I mean, you know that could definitely be one of them. And at the end of the day, yeah, no one really knows who Satoshi was. That's kind of like what makes the appeal, at least to someone like the average Joes or like the early cypherpunks towards the beginning of it. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, that's definitely not discounting that at all. You know, definitely could be possible. So
yeah, I mean, look it up. It's still in the chats. You can see when like Satoshi gives basically the hands off the project at that point to Gavin Andresen. It had to be like 2010 or 2011, and
yeah,
he decided he wanted to go to the CIA. Why the CIA? Out of all the people to go. Why not go to the news? Why not go to, you know, you could have gone anywhere. You probably went to the CIA because that's the people that were paying them. So being like, all right, we paid for this. Now we want to know what's going on. That's why when people say that like 40% of the coins are being held by all these people, I bet it's more. I bet Satoshi's coins like are held by the DOJ. And it's just a matter of when. Like that a lot of people didn't make that much of a fuss about those coins that the DOJ got this year. But those coins were like hacked. And then they keep saying, oh, it was hacked. And you're like, how did they hack them? How did they get them? Who had them? And all this BS. And I just don't buy it. I mean, at this point, I just don't trust it. So it's like I don't trust Bitcoin one bit because not the project, not the code, not that part is like what people don't understand. It's like it doesn't matter if you can't corrupt the code. If you can buy more coins than everyone else, then that's all that matters. Because the banks can keep printing all this fake money. But they could buy Bitcoin at 40 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand. They don't care as long as you don't have it. They'll buy it at 60, hold it, wait for all the weak hands to shake out. Drop it down to 30 grand, buy it back up again, and then sell it to everyone all the way up to 100K. That's what I think the next cycle is probably what's going to happen. Like they're going to decide how low they want to go. Now it's like 30. It looks like it's about it. In a few weeks, it might get a little bit boring and then drop a little more and then just fucking rock again. So it's what I saw in like 2018. That's why in 2018, I went to Puerto Rico and told everyone and anyone that I could see, like, hey, Bitcoin is at $3,000, buy it. And then everyone was like, oh, no, it's going to be like 1,000 in like a few days or whatever. And I was like, I mean, I did a video telling everyone how to DCA because at that point, I remember like by October of November of 2018, it was like at $6,000. I thought that was the bottom, you know. So when it went from 60 to 3, and it had almost like a 50% discount at that point. Yeah, I mean, like I was telling everyone, and that's when I started doing my videos on YouTube, because I was like, well, I'm gonna put my videos for this like the bottom of the bear market, so that people see me that I grinded through all this. And but I didn't get as much, hook as I wanted, because I did most of the videos in Spanish, thinking that's who I want to help. I want to help people in Puerto Rico and this and that and the other. But everyone that I would talk to, they believe in legacy, they believe in Wall Street, they think Bitcoin's whatever. And in that case, I had to agree with Sailor, and was have fun staying poor.
You know, to your point, like even people like Richard that have been in Bitcoin since like 2010 and a half, like 2011 and whatnot, at least myself included, I thought, 6K was the bottom on Bitcoin. And then it's like just a trap. You know, they always say like staircases up as far as technical analysis goes. And then like elevator down. That was a fucking like trapdoor elevator. But to your point, that is the maximum point of opportunity. And I've even seen some people like, or even people that are in my personal life that are like, oh my God, is Bitcoin dead? Is that like 33,000? It's like, no, like did you see it last year? Like, did you see it last year?
Right.
Or like when Hex was coming out, like it was significantly less than that. So to your point that there's clear manipulation, not only in like traditional markets, but crypto markets too. And a lot of people, to your point, like if you have $50 or like $100 or even $1,000.
I can point out the exact day that it almost like started, because if you look at the summer, if you type banks, cryptocurrency custody or something like that in July, if you look at the charts, Bitcoin was just like there, 8,000 to 10, 8,000, 9,000, and it wouldn't move, it wouldn't go down. That's when they were loading up. I mean, they loaded up. Whoever didn't load it from March, when March dipped, it was like that 6K dip and whatnot, and they were like, all right, well, we're gonna, and now they're selling it at 3x. So that's when they sold it, and then you see all these retail investors just buying Robinhood Bitcoin, which I don't get. I really don't get why people are doing that, because it's like, imagine that you made $1,000 in Bitcoin on Robinhood, and then to get it out, you have to sell it. So it's like you're not even in it not even for the tech, not even for Bitcoin. You're just there to make some money. You're a gambler, and I don't get it. I don't get what people are doing that, because it's obvious, especially places like Robinhood, that unless they believe so much that they just want to hold the paper Bitcoin or their paper gains that they've made from Robinhood, that whatever they make have to sell. So it's a weird situation. And then again, I'm not anti-Bitcoin. It's just that I'm anti what's happening. It's what Accidentally said. Same thing I am anti-paper silver, and I'm anti-market manipulation. And now I guess I'm anti-outsider trading, because it's like, what's, what they're saying now. It's like what they were joking, obviously. But it's ridiculous. I wish that there were more open markets, but then what we need to do is just, instead of just saying that we're going to fight them, because we're not gonna, like, they need it. A lot of people, they think that this Wall Street Bets group just came out of nowhere. They just out of nowhere added 3 million people, but they've been running for a while. They've been trying to do this for a long time. So what's the point? You're gonna try to attack one stock at a time every time. It just, in my mind, it's like a waste of not time, but there's way better ways of doing this than they did. Yeah. Because now what's going to happen is more regulation, and that's why I assume that this group, they're the Wall Street Bets or whatever, it's like a psyop. It's basically someone in Wall Street that wants more market regulation, opens this little Reddit group, talks to his little rich buddies, and this is not poor people. Like, the average
wouldn't be the first time
behind GME.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first time Reddit was used for intel and information like that. So on a little side note, because yeah, I mean, I completely agree. There's a lot of that pretty much in a lot of the markets. But Benny Blanco, complete side note, says identity, is English your first or second language? I know you grew up in Puerto Rico, so maybe you can kind of put that to
This
rest.
is my second language. Mi primer idioma es español, Benny. Yo hablo español.
Nice, dude. Yeah, it's cool that you said Puerto Rico's home. I mean, it's awesome to meet, you know, people like yourself, and you know, happy to call you a friend now, and you know, people like Gary that understand the longer time frame and longer time horizon. You know, you mentioned with some things that you just can't escape from, no matter how much you might want to. If you can at least prepare yourself now and even use systems that are grandfathered in, possibly, then that might play to your advantage, as opposed to, you know, getting raked over the coals by new regulation or just things that are going on too. So
for sure.
People like Nardo says hi. Benny says, oh yeah, and then identity. Maybe you can like put your YouTube channel if you get a second, like in the DM or even just the public chat, and we can show that too, because you know, someone like yourself is, I mean, I guarantee you've been making videos since before I have, since you've been mentioning Bitcoin since 3,300, 3,600, things like that, below the 6K drop. So it's really cool that Richard's mentioned it before and yourself has mentioned it before, that the opportunity is when there's blood on the streets, is when, like, you know, your girlfriend or like your dad is like, oh, it's Bitcoin dead and all this stuff. Like that is the opportunity, and that is the mass psychology of people that don't have a full glimpse of things going on. So it's really cool to see someone like yourself, you know, was able to see that benefit even in Hex and in Bitcoin way early on. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the second that I saw that the way that Hex kept you accountable, because that was a lot of thing that I saw back with Bitcoin. It was a lot of people just saying, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to pump it to this, but then they dump on you. You know, so the fact that you're like, yeah, you can dump on me, but you're going to pay, you know, you're going to pay those penalties. And that's something that I always thought that Bitcoin could do. You know, I always vouch for the cypherpunks. Anyone that knows me knows that I consider myself a cypherpunk. But then again, I'm disappointed in the way it was handled. It was, you know, it was like we had this shiny, great object, like Johnny says. We had this diamonds. They sold them for marbles. They did. Like, they sold so cheap. And now it's a matter of who wants to get in. You'll see all these guys like Sailor, like Paul, like, and then it's what's coming. A lot of people don't know, but BlackRock's about to get into Bitcoin. And BlackRock, like they manage trillions with a T.
Yeah.
So if they decide that they want to put 1% of their money in Bitcoin, I mean, it's gonna pump more than 100K. It's just a matter of when they decide to do it, how they decide to do it, if they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna run their own OTC desk, or what's gonna happen. But I mean, the money's there. So I mean, if whoever's here for the pump, we're gonna see a pump. It's just a matter of who's gonna get wrecked or who's gonna take advantage of it. But all the big players are setting up, and we're gonna see now Wall Street, or I mean the government with Yellen telling everyone, oh, Bitcoin, it's so like everyone's like using it for illegal activity. No one uses the dollar for that. Like Monetizes. I don't know if you've seen that interview, but he actually went to CNBC, and he said that the dollar is not used for nefarious acts. Like even Joe, the commentator of CNBC, he went like this, like he shook his head in a way that I had never seen. It was like, wait, what did you say?
Slap yourself.
Yeah, and that's that's exactly what she's gonna say. You know, she's gonna want to put Bitcoin at like $5,000 so that BlackRock can buy all the Bitcoin that they want as cheap as possible. Because what people need to understand, when the price is going down, there's always people buying. So that's what I tell everyone: you need to DCA all the dips on Hex, because that's the only way you're gonna get an advantage.
Totally. I mean, and to your point, like even with people like Silver the Antidote that do like the chain analysis on Hex and just kind of like the Ethereum blockchain and whatnot. Like, yeah, we do see institutional capital and, you know, capital coming into Hex, and even people like Mark Cuban and whatnot. And it's like, yo, these people that are just like bitching about, oh, gas fee, this and that. And it's like, okay, like that's the current circumstance that it is now. But what is the market saying? Like, your average investor, $20, $100. Hey, I mean, got to update your worldview, right? It might be too low for you to come in. If Richard's point that if you can afford like $10, $15 McDonald's, whatever, then save a couple hours and be able to afford the gas fee, because other people are clearly saying that the Ethereum network has value and that these things have value. And to your point, they are setting up. I mean, even on a late stream that I hosted the other night, I think it's February 8th is the day like that the CME futures goes live for like Ethereum, and that could be bullish as fuck.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, like right now, what I'm thinking though is that could happen. The same thing that happened with Bitcoin though. Whenever they started in 17, that's when the market started dumping. But I mean, now, in my opinion, it's different. There's way more players in Ethereum. There's way more people even in Bitcoin. So I don't think we're gonna see a dump. Even if we go down from here. I don't see it going down again like 80, 90% like we did last time. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just I see way too many people salivating for these dips for it to just keep going down, down, down. Anyone that understands what's going on too, meaning the Fed printing, all the devaluation, inflation, everything that's fighting your dollars, they should be looking for anything outside of the dollar. So I mean, like what you said about the McDonald's thing is actually really funny, because that's pretty much how I invested this year in Hex. Like by the time, like I remember it had to be like February or March, and I was like, well, I got absolutely no money to keep putting into Hex and DCA. So what am I gonna do? And I slowed down my beer consumption. I slowed down going out to the fast food and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, I was like, holy crap! I was drinking way more than I thought. All of a sudden, it was like $40 here, $50 there, $10 here. And then it added up, obviously before price appreciation, but it was the way I did it. And then if we start focusing on the fees in a different light, if we were to, instead of calling them gas fees, calling them freedom fees or freedom rates or something, because we need to understand, sometimes we're doing trades at 3 in the morning on a Saturday. Like if when I used to work at a bank, we used to take all the transactions, but if I take a transaction for you on a Saturday, I'm not going to process it till Monday. You're not going to get your money till Tuesday. So, I mean, if anyone that values time understands that you just say 4 days on that, but you made that fee, you made the transaction. And if you want to do work, it's going to work for you at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whenever in the morning. You don't have to deal with anyone. You don't have to call the bank. You don't have to wait on hold. It's pretty much what's happening with the silver. We have to appreciate that premium, meaning, hey, I could go to silver. I could get my shovel in my bucket and start shoveling a hole until I crack silver. But is that going to be worth it, or it's going to be more than $3? Well, if your answer is yes, then just pay the fucking premium. And in the same way, if you want to do a transaction on Hex on a Saturday at 3 in the morning, pay the gas fee. Because imagine if we were having the chance, I've heard Johnny also say this, imagine the people that had the chance to buy Bitcoin at 100, 500, 1,000, 500. Karim has also said this. And now how they would feel. Oh shit, I could have bought it at 500, 1,000 and this, and I didn't want to spend $20 on gas. Really? So I see it as, I call it as a joke, freedom fees, because every time I use it, I control it. I get to decide when I want to do it. Do I want it fast? Do I want to wait 20 minutes for my transaction to do, and then I save $2-3? But I look at the positives, and I see them way more than just paying for those charges, because at the end of it all, if we do it right, I've seen people, I've heard them say that there's waiting till they have $200-300 so they can that day buy it. I've noticed that anyone that's doing that, if you're buying, at least the way I see it, and this is how I'm doing it, so obviously no financial advice, but this is how I'm doing it. If I see a day that is dipping 8 to 12% or so, that's the day that I want to do at least a $200 transaction. Because if I pay $20 in the next 10, 15 minutes, it's gonna correct. And then my fee was free because I already made my $20. I made my 10% or my $200 purchase. So I mean, if someone wants to see it that way, because at the end of the year, I'm still going to go to the IRS. But I'm trying to, you know, hack it. You know, like I love my little life hacks, and that's the one that is working. Sadly, the days that I see the chat that is complaining a little bit about the fees, then that day, obviously, I'm not going to do transactions. And then I see a dip, and I see a bunch of people like, oh, what's going on? The price is stagnant. We're going sideways. We're doing this. And I was like, well, that's the day of blood in the street. That's the day I'm going to attack. So I wish more people would see it that way, because Hex is just turning into something completely different than crypto. We don't have to deal with whatever they're doing. We don't have to be looking at the charts. But in my mind, the day that I'm buying is that. If I see a 5% dip, I'm buying that day, because I feel that I save on the gas. And then I'm DCAing more and more and more, because we're thinking. I also noticed this on the chat. It was on the Spanish chat on Telegram. Someone was saying that about the T-shares, because we're seeing it at today's price, at today's at what is paying us. Meaning, well, today we have to pay 100 and so to get 5 hex. You know, and that's what they're thinking. But they're not thinking that in a few years, it's going to be so much more expensive to get that one T-shirt that's going to pay us that much more hex. So we need to have a you know, like you've said before, like step back and see the bigger picture, because if now we're going to miss out the same way we did with Bitcoin. Like I know I did, because the first time I heard about Bitcoin, hearing that Trace Mayer talking with Max Kaiser, I thought they were fucking crazy. I remember them talking about this electronic money and da-da-da-da-da-da. Back then, I was so hooked up on PlayStation 3, that's all I could think of. I was like, oh, sure, they're saying it's $21 million. And then when the Fed gets bored, they're going to be copy-paste and not 42. And that's where I lost, because obviously I could have done more research, I could have learned more and this and that. It wasn't until like 2014 that I saw, it had to be like 2012, 2013. I see Trace Mayer again at a British show, talking again about Bitcoin. And I remember my thought was like, well, if this dude hasn't been committed yet, or been accused of some type of fraud, or pushing some type of scam in this thing Bitcoin, I was like, no, this shit's real. And that's when I started doing more research, learning about what happened in Mt. Gox, also trying to stay away from that. But at least I started like researching more and more, and then that's when I got in. But yeah, it's just a matter of staying on it, because we don't want to miss the boat over something so trivial. You know, it's obvious that it's going to be expensive, but then at least for us, for the OGs, anyone that was here from the start and saw that we were spending $1, a cent gas fee, they should understand that they're going to keep scaling. So we're getting $40, $50 until we get this state crap running the way we want and need it. It's going to happen. So I recommend people not to just cross their hands and not do it, because what if they don't spend the $40, $50 now? But then in a few weeks, a few months, then we're buying 2 cent, 3 cent hex, or we might be buying $400 T-shares. And so I don't know. I wouldn't want to miss on that opportunity, because I've done it in the past. I even did it with Hex at the AA lobby. I know on days that it would kind of spike, and I would see way too many ETH in the I would be like, all right, well, today I don't want to do it. Thinking about it now, I should just been like, okay, well, today I'll just put like $20 or something like that. But I did it. So
makes sense, man. Your current paradigm doesn't realize, holy shit, in the future this, penny Bitcoin could be worth 44,000. Quick question. So it does look like Kareem's kind of still busy. Do you care if we take like a 3-minute break real quick, just while I pee and while we play a music video? Cool. So for anyone that's not familiar, we're just gonna take just a couple-minute break, because I'm at least gonna be streaming until Hexologist goes on. So Identity is obviously welcome to stay as long as he wants. But 3 minutes, and we'll start the timer now.
There's so many scams. I have to change my username. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere. Richard Hart, bracket. Don't ever send me money. imposters everywhere bracket. That's fucked up, right? And I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scams. And everyone else is like, oh, fucking that Richard, yeah, he's a scammer.
Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, 5, 5, 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need a token, you broken, you wanna see some massive gains? Lambo, new crib, model wife, cash and chains. Look no further at your final destination. Don't be complacent every day when you paper chasing. Choose the best, leave the rest, stop investing like you press. The only crypto that you'll ever need is Hex. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, 5, 5, 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. Your investments are safe, it's got defenses. A mutable contract that pays trustless interest. I don't understand why everybody is hating. Hex is capped at 3.69 inflation. Shares are like hash rate. The higher you take her, the more daily interest that gets paid to the stakers. Always do your own research, don't listen to me though. It's complete, it can't be changed. Hex is finito. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, 5, 5, 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. The game has changed, ain't no going back now. Dummies that called Hex a scam can back down. I hope you understand, I pray that you follow me. You owe the entire Hex family an apology. And stay sober, cash out, the game's over. Hex is here for the market cap takeover. Buckle up, we about to be full throttle. With multiple audits is where we get paid to hodl. We got the game smothered, sisters and brothers, with no expectation of the work from others. It's complicated, I know that there's a lot to this. For your daily Hex updates, tune to Hexologist.
What's up, guys?
Hex is like nothing that you ever been through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pumpamentals. If you like what you hear, buy now, stake twice. Just remember, yo, this ain't financial advice. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, 5, 5, 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans.
Okay, totally. Let me just remove identity for just 1 second until he's ready. So yeah, just perfect. He's ready. Yeah. So just want to cover one comment real quick before we have identity back on. So Michael.hex says, and we'll have identity comment as well. But Michael.hex says, I wanted to put a QR code on a T-shirt and evangelize Staker.app. What do you think? Good or no? Good or no good? Honestly, I think it's a good idea. You know, why not? If you're kind of representing your own brand, and I mean, yeah, Children of the Grave and some other people, you know, say use a secondary address. I think to Papa B's point, when I mentioned it the other day, as long as you're not slapping like your main address and like graffitiing and things like that and vandalizing, then you know you're probably fine to shill your own QR code. But that's just the little opinion from what I know. And then Anna Maria, she's actually a Hexican that's been around for a little while, and she's a lady Hexican, and she actually got a Hex tattoo the other day. But without further ado, let's not have just myself on stream. Let's get identity back on. So yeah, no, it's cool to see you know so many different types of Hexicans. I mean, you know, Hexicans that you know are Spanish native, you know. People that are from like Germany, you know, we got everyone around the world, and just so many different like types of people, unique people that you know, we got a Hexican for all your needs. And it's cool that we've got you know, a lady Hexican that got a Hex tattoo the other day. That's kind of cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I mean, like, I mean, the community is freaking amazing. I mean, I've followed all kinds of communities. You know, everyone following Bitcoin, then Ethereum. Then I got into all kinds of other altcoins. Then other projects that they wanted to work with Bitcoin or with blockchain. And I've never seen a community like this. I mean, I had written a small article, not even an article, it was like a paragraph, like years ago now. And it's crazy because I remember thinking that there was going to be like a new wave of cypherpunks, but I didn't think that the Hexicans like fit that profile. That, I mean, it was perfect, and it was exactly what I was looking for. Let me share it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can continue there real quick because it's on my Twitter.
Oh yeah,
a minute.
No, for sure, man. Yeah, you know, take your time. We'll definitely share the screen. Danny Boy, in the meantime, says, yeah, the hex tattoos are sick. Yeah, I know. Let's see, Lazar, Cookie Boys, David Feeder did his on stream, and then Anna Maria Ciaria, she at least showed her photo as well of the hex tattoo. So I think that's cool. And then yeah, Michael was saying, another Hexican says, he was talking kind of about the QR code on a T-shirt, and he says, someone said it may put your address, referring to like your main Ethereum address, things like that, your Ethereum address on blast. Is that true or false?
Oh.
I'm not too sure. Not too sure there.
I know the previous referral program did, and that was pretty much my issue with it at first. I didn't want to share my, any account that would get even close to sharing my stuff. So, so yeah, on this one, I'm not 100% sure if it does.
Right. I'm the same way. I mean, hey, better be safe than sorry. And as far as just operational security goes, one thing Richard's talked a lot about is like we talk about crypto, not our crypto type deal. And like if you're gonna have, I mean, some of the people in the community have been, so public to like show their full addresses and whatnot. But the more I'm starting to realize, oh yeah, maybe if you do have a ref link, like have it not go to your main wallet, especially if you've got wallets that are like associated with large amounts of funds and whatnot. So just be smart and have that forward thinking that you mentioned earlier, like because things like crypto, just like with the internet, like they're pretty much not going away, and the actual data itself is not really going away too. So just be smart with whatever you do. Don't, like I said, have a whole bunch of QR codes on like a sticker and slap that shit, because then it could be correlated back to yourself rather easily. So that's the last thing you want.
Yep. So let me here. I found the.
No worries. I'll keep covering a couple of chats while we're still looking for that. But so yeah, great to see everyone in the chat. For anyone that wasn't aware, it was going to be myself, and Karim was supposed to join 30 minutes later, but something came up with him, so we're just going to stream until Hexologist goes, or
gotcha.
If Karim wants to come on later, he can too. But let's share the screen and see what's going on.
All right. So I have written this. It was called "Where Are the New Cypherpunks?" This is this is not my last name. My last name is Claudio. But then I wrote the need of awareness over adoption. Because as I mentioned back then, around this time, it was like the bear market, Bitcoin at like 6K around this time or something like that. And then everybody was talking that Bitcoin's dead, this and the other. So I remember writing this, and anyone that reads it might think that I was talking about the Hexicans. That's my what I think. I wrote, in the past 5 years of the blockchain evolution, we have seen great changes, stories, and visions about adoption, scalability, sidechains, lightning networks, and many others, one more sophisticated than the previous. And while some networks, protocols, even constitutions have seen multiple changes, updates, and amendments, a lot is missing when it comes to basic awareness and education of the next generation. The misrepresentation of certain questionable personalities in the ecosystem with lack of general consensus, 51% attack threats, and outlandish price predictions for the current 2018 bear market fell into irresponsible, as many continue to trust blindly and sometimes led by self-imposed prophets like Craig S. Wright and other individuals with ulterior motives. In closing, the adoption FOMO will continue with new clever procedures from the builders to develop methods to use your crypto assets on buying the always mentioned daily cup of coffee, but not nearly enough is being done to involve or evolve the new generation of cypherpunks. So, from that, and I swear it feels almost like I was talking about the Hexicans. Just it feels like what Joe is doing, what Maddie's doing, obviously what Richard does. And a lot of people don't appreciate what Richard does every time he blocks all these like unmentionable characters in our chats. Or at least when he streams, you know, that they come in like bunches, they do. And I mean, it keeps us. I mean, it keeps us in a good situation, I think. Because I mean, it's not all these trolls that are coming in. It's people that like-minded individuals that want to grow. I notice a lot of focus on personal development, a lot of focus on even learning about finances, learning about investments, and all this type of things. So it's almost everything is about growth. You know, either in your personal life, your financial life, your romantic life, whatever you want to do, it's all about growth. So it's awesome, and that's what I like about this community. It's like we're all adding our little piece to the puzzle, and it's turning into something really cool.
You know, I know that this is not only the right decision from what my experience has already been, but as far as the new people that are adopting like DeFi and stuff like this, like Mark Cuban publishing his. Oh, we do got. Let's before I get to my opinion, let's kind of just to your point there. Let's get Karim on. He's in the green room real quick, and so happy that he can join us. Without further ado, what's up, Karim?
What up, Karim?
What's going on, everybody? Good to be here. Sorry, I'm like multitasking in the car. I had an emergency. I felt bad for Brand because it was like, hey, I'm free at this time on Sunday, you know what I mean? And then, of course, right, work just showed out of the blue. But it's funny. It's a good and a bad thing at the same time. So it's like more business, which means more work. And, you know, when you pride yourself being a workaholic, always available, well, that means sometimes your calendars get filled up out of the blue and you just got to respond. So, but I was able to get some of this stuff done quickly, and I got one potential also at 6, but I wanted to come in first, and then if anything, I'll probably just do back and forth. So awesome. What's going on? Sorry, what I missed? Almost 2 hours of live. So give me a rundown. What I missed?
Kind of just covered the whole gambit. We were talking a little bit about like traditional markets, what's going on in Wall Street, what's going on in cryptocurrency. What can you do to hedge your bet? You know, what can you do to minimize on taxes possibly in jurisdictions go? We kind of covered a lot, you know, like digital assets versus physical assets, you know, things like even just in traditional finance goes, you know, you can have, silver like physically, or you can have it digitally in paper certificates. So we're covering a little bit of everything, you know, Hex and just a whole bunch of info.
Absolutely. I think my little 2 cents about what's going on with Wall Street, I think what's amazing people are missing is that it's really a new movement because, you know, being curious as I am, I actually spent a lot of time just researching what was going on because, you know, even again, my friend, my brother, like I said before, the guy that I'm onboarding tomorrow, you know, I mean, it's going to be even more fireworks because what's insane is that those people literally, hedge fund is greediness at its best. They shorted up to 140%. So for those people watching that don't know, shorting is essentially you're allowed to sell a stock that you don't actually have, which is insane. And also selling more than 100% an outstanding share. It's literally like the big guy putting his feet down your neck pretty much and saying you have no other way but to go that way. And it was just a formidable will of the people. I mean, literally, the story is crazy because they've been shorting it since it was $25 all the way to $3. Imagine 85% plus retracement on a 12x leverage. I mean, they made 1,000% on their money, and the motherfuckers were still greedy, trying to short it even more to the point where the guy was like, "Wait a minute, even though GameStop is not doing that well, if you do the math and everything, even on the worst case scenario, it's still worth at least, $5-6 a share. Why is it at $3?" And then you dig in and you find out, and after all the bullshit, man, the pandemic, the freaking, election, and then on, and for those kids, and I still consider myself, because I used to play, and every now and then on the Bloom when I play a video game, like GameStop is like legacy. That was an escape for some people. And seeing bluntly how the companies just want to make them die, you know what I mean? Like, and then you realize the play. It's not just about making money. It's putting you all over the bankruptcy so we can, come back after you, buy you penny on the dollar, sell the real estate. You find out the real business, what they call agent of death. Like, and then you see the connection back to 2008, what they used to do. Like, you know what I mean? Your JCPenney, your Sears, your all this other stuff. Same company, same hedge fund, Melvin Capital. Then you track back to Citadel, which then owns 41% of trading volume related to Robinhood. So the more you dig in, the nastier it becomes, and you're like, what the fuck? And then, the fire in me is like, yo, even my customer today, they're just like throwing a couple $1,000 here and there. Like, it's really the will of the people, because they shorted it so much that it created an opportunity, because now the little guy could buy 50,000 shares at $3 and then push it back up. And just doing the math, I mean, it's easy play, guys. They still like 118%, I think, of open short on GM. It's gonna be fireworks tomorrow. Like, all you have to do is just hold. They're gonna have to buy back. And then I read an article that was saying, this is the sweet part. Every day that goes by, because they're buying those on leverage, right? Like I said, 10 to 12x. I think they're losing about like $1.5 billion a day, just because it becomes a tug and war, right? So just for people watching that don't understand, because the amount of short is still so massive, more than the outstanding amount. So basically, if nobody buys, just holds, the interest daily that they have to pay, because no leverage like that, you're borrowing money, so you have to pay daily interest, right? Like leverage. So just that alone is crippling, which then create forced liquidation. The same with us, the little guy, right? Market goes against you, crazy. If you play leverage, right? You get that fucking email or that phone call that, put more money in your account, or we're gonna have to, market sell that bitch. And then if you watch the option, it's sick, because it's Friday to Friday. The next call option for next week is $800, bro. It's somebody is basically saying, you want my share?
Yeah, they buy all them stocks up at that price.
Come pick it up at 800. That's what I'll give it to you. So you want to get out after trying to scam the people? Okay. And then on the Reddit, there's calls to bring it to like 1,000 to really teach them a lesson, because they have so much money. If you just take a little bit, they won't really learn, right? And I'm not saying all hedge funds are bad, you know what I mean? Like, some of them are doing a good job, Ray Dalio and stuff like that. It's just the nefarious one, the short, I would say maybe 5% of them. Melvin Capital definitely involved. And then the parent company, Citadel, and it goes back way back. They've been scamming the retail investor for so fucking long. So that's a big stand. And after ruining them, they're all going to be moving to crypto, like we've been saying, because it's less rigged. It's just you have to keep squeezing it, and no wonder Elon gets on that, because, Elon's been battling short sellers trying to kill the company. Absolutely. Just to put everybody in perspective, during the craziest part of Tesla, before the big short squeeze, that's what I was telling my friend, I was buying, it was like 150. It was about 77%. So they were shorting 77% of outstanding share, which is insane, because again, you're shorting, meaning you're selling shares you don't have, you have to buy back. But imagine Melvin Capital took GME all the way to 140, like just to give you an idea. So the potential squeezing power, anybody with a common sense, just watch that. They'll be like, this is the most easy money ever. And again, to me, it's no more about the money. It's just more the cause and what's going on. So I'm rooting for that. And it's so good to watch it. You know what I mean? They don't even realizing it, but they're acting like a crypto community. Being organized, talking on the Reddit, showing their HODL position. Man, it was kind of fun to watch that.
And then,
like, man,
Karim, I was going to ask you, do you think it's only retail investors, or do you think this is what I was thinking earlier? It was that this maybe is like some type of psyop or some type of hidden operation where it's other hedge funds trying to screw up those hedge funds.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think what happened is that from what I've read and gathered, because I read a bunch in 2-3 days, is that the retail started it. Of course, they picked it up at $3, ran it all the fucking way to like 120, 140, which is insane. By the way, it just shows the greed, right? It's like you short something 50%, you make over 500 fucking X, 500%, and you're like, nah, it's not enough. Let me shove it down more. All the way down to 3, and you're like, nah, I want some more. And that's when the retail guy, little David got to fight Goliath because he had a really easy point entry, asymmetrical reward, and then the little fucking $500 stimulus checks at $3 a fucking share, buying out an option at 90 cents, because that's what it means, because with the option, you can buy a fraction of the thing. So $3 share, buying out option for 90 cents, $500, that's over 500 shares. You understand? So they ran it all the way and keep buying. And then remember, you take that shit, you move up. Price goes up. You add leverage to that bitch. Let's go. Next day, it goes up 50%. You have new available buying power that just shows up. What do? You buy some fucking more. You're so deep into the profit, you don't need to sell. You're just riding that bitch up. And then when it got to like 120 and 130, something like that, around Tuesday, that's when there was the big buzz. And that's when the other big hedge funds got in, because there's so much shenanigans going on that hedge funds, they don't even check each other's out. This is what's even more scary. They're just like, and they're like, wait a minute. Those kids, just like how we've been, downplayed and talking shit about crypto, all nefarious people, blah, 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 illegal gambling. No, they actually spend the time. They read the analysis. Wait a minute. That kid is actually smart. It's a genius. It's as good as any hedge fund analysis. And then they looked at it like, fuck, we're here to make money too. That's the easiest bet. And they were shocked. And that's what shocked me the most, right? That fucking retail investor were the one to find out that something was shorted over 100% that fucking hedge fund people didn't even knew about. Like, this is literally the epiphany of the stupidity. But then they're like, no, we're going to make them pay. And then you see, CNBC, even Shamath was on there. He write that, bought some call option, made a quick 500K, and then he donated it to like a non-profit something. I forgot the name. But the retail started it, and then the other hedge fund are going to finish it, because there's still that, even between the sharks, there's that competition too. Right. If you have the opportunity to put your competitor out of fucking business, especially with all the clout, and you get to make money, act like a fucking hero, and look like you did the right thing, yeah, bullshit. Nah, you were just opportunistic. It's like the swing trader that's just here for he hears about the pump, and then he jumps on it because, hey, listen, we need everybody, every buying power comes in. I think they're down 70 billion right now in a week. Savage. Total loss right now is about, but again, we're talking about motherfucking Citadel, dude. 41% of all trading. It's insane. That's why you're going to see the market keeps going down, because they're going to have to sell their profitable position elsewhere to buy back to cover the thing. So the little retail guy ending up sucking all the capital from other places. It's insane.
That's what I was telling Brian. It's like what they need to organize themselves. It's not to screw up and get into this and Doge and all these other, they need to now get a second stock or a second asset that they can actually control and go for. Because I was telling Brian, I was like, Doge. The thing with Doge is like a lot of people are underwater with Doge in the last like 4 or 5 years. So if they see it go up, they're just gonna dump. They're not gonna let it go up. A good position. It can make some damage.
Absolutely. I think the statement there was more about to show that we can fight market manipulation if we all team up together. Again, the power of a community, which has been so fucking underestimated. Now it's the YouTube, the TikTok. That's kind of the new CNBC. And it just goes to show that the market is so rigged against you that unless we act as a community, there's no way to fight that back. You get what I'm saying? And let's not forget, even with the whole Doge situation, people got to be very careful, because you have people like opportunistic bandwagon, kind of even like the Justin Sun, trying to cloud chasing. So you gotta be very careful. Not everything is Wall Street bet. The same way, there's probably like 30 some copycats out there or whatever. But they did talk about those a little bit. But let's not forget the main fight. The main fight is with the institution and those positions. That's what he takes. He takes screenshot almost every business day. That position is not touched. It's just hold it and then probably even buy more on the dip, buying the dip to keep pushing it up. To make that statement, make more money. Like my friend, I told him, listen, if it keeps riding up tomorrow, just leave it there, ride it. And the joke is that, hey, we wanted to invest 10, 15K. If we ride it all the way to the end of the week and it goes up to 50K, hey, more money to you. Because when it's all said and done, and the indicator is going to be the short interest. When it gets so squeezed back to, Tesla level, then maybe we'll catch some breather, take away some profits and stuff like that. Because those people, they're going to have to not just buy back to cover, but they're going to have to long their own loss. Does that make sense? To cover for some of that. Because they're being squeezed. So they're themselves going to start squeezing themselves just to catch some of the long. Does that make sense? So basically, if you're about to lose more and by you being squeezed, that can push the price 30%, then you buy a call option to long it 30% to try to compensate for the loss. Does that make sense?
Wow. Bunch of people are going to get wrecked.
So all of that just add more fuel to the fire, which then will pump the price more. Because even the guy being squeezed has to long to compensate. If I'm about to lose $500 million or another $1 billion, but I can predict the way up because I'm the one being squeezed, so I buy more the call side also. It's like hedging the bet. So I lose $500 million, but maybe I make 200 million from the price going up as well. So I get to mitigate some of the loss. But all of that pushes the price up. More buying pushes the price up. Short liquidation squeeze pushes the price up. Mm-hmm. This is why it's literally free market. Yep, that's why they had to shut down the thing, which they're gonna go to jail. It's over. And you get to see how fucked up he was and how coordinated he was, which is the proof of the scam, because it was Robinhood, Webull, Schwab, some other shit. They all simultaneously shut down.
TD Ameritrade. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then when and when social media jump on their neck, then they back off a little bit. And because he was smart, and he posted, that was the most epic post. Dude is down 45%, 9 million in the red on the day, and he fucking said, "Bitch, I ain't selling." Dude, that was just the battle cry was crazy, and everybody's like, "Shit, if he's not selling, I ain't selling." Man, I feel like it's like that's an X. Like, dude, I'm staked. I don't care what you're doing. 555, let's roll. If you're with me, I fuck with you. You're not with me, you're against me. Get the fuck out of here. We'll see you at $1. I don't care how long it takes, but I ain't fucking selling, and I'm gonna add to the stack. So they don't even realize, but they were speaking like true Hexicans, man. That was just like fuck, and everybody went whoa, and that just added more fuel to the fire, because I think would have stopped out, right? But when they did that, that was so obvious that hey, we're gonna literally the sheriff from Nottingham, right? I thought you were working for us, Robin Hood, but you're actually stealing from the poor, giving back to the rich. The memes were insane. So then new people show up.
How Robinhood makes their money, Karim, but they sell everyone's info. And basically they tell all these high frequency traders like, hey, this is where Karim has it. Or whatever.
It's like they're talking shit about BitMEX when they're doing way worse than BitMEX. They're counter trading the other people, they're sharing the trade, they're literally just showing the platform. And this is why this is so epic, because the parent company of Melvin Capital against Citadel is a legit trading desk. 41% of the whole fucking thing is run by them. It's just to show the scam. You talk about pump and dump in crypto? Shit. They fucking invented pump and dump. You feel me? So it's just like, no. So all this thing is the biggest. There's going to be a fucking movie about this, man. There's going to be a movie about it. So, because remember, as they short, what happened is that you need more buying power to come buy the shorts, because it's almost unlimited against you, because they can just keep shorting because they don't have to have the physical stake. So that's why they have to literally call their friends, other fucking hedge funds, to lend them money. This is the scam they did, right? They fucking created the block, make the buy button go away, right? And then they call all their fucking friends, hedge funds, the other ones, the other nefarious one, borrowed more money and doubled down on the shorts. This is what they did to create that 44% to the downside. And thank God nobody sold. So because paper loss. And the fucking next day, it took back the 44% plus he went up 68, went 100 fucking percent.
That's when it went to like 4 something.
Yeah, because on the big red day, it went all the way down to like 154. And on the next day, it closed at 329, over 100%. You said, bitch, because remember, it's all fear move. It's all paper loss. Remember, you only lose when you sell, when you exit. Because now they buy back the shares. But because we never sell, because dude, you 8 million in profit, or even the little guy, you're up 200-300%. Who cares? Like his lowest entry point with an option trade is up 10,000%, some shit like that. And then the other regular one is up like 50,000 shares, up like 3,000%, which is smart because now even if it goes down 50%, he's still up so much that he doesn't have to sell. So we can continue to squeeze the motherfuckers. And this is where it's funny, I told my friend, because he was so parabolic, I'm like, dude, stay away. I love it. But this scam wick that they did, the scam shit that they did, created the perfect retest, bro. It's like crypto. He went back to test 61.8. It literally reloaded. And I called my friend. I was like, yo, this is your entry right here.
That's crazy.
Because this price is not supposed to be here. They literally had to scam the fucking thing, make the buy button go away to create this bullshit. So you're long from fucking here. On Monday, all those motherfuckers gonna wake up with 68% more buying power, and they're gonna pump that shit up. I want them to blow up the whole fucking Melvin Capital. I mean, call me mean or not, but
I thought it was gone the second that they said we're like 12 billion or something in the hole. I didn't know that keep going more. Wow.
The parent company needs to be gone. The Citadel motherfuckers. Those are the ones you need to squeeze more. They have more billions to give away. Trust me. And they're gonna call their friends. They're gonna borrow.
I recently there's only like 4 or 5 guys running that whole company, something like that. Like 5 people running since.
Melvin Capital is like a hedge fund, but they have a parent company, kind of like the company that, the same way Citadel is a big investor in the Robinhood, the platform. That's why they have to be their little bitch. And then when they say shut it down, you have to shut it down because we own you. You feel me? So Melvin Capital, all this, the Robinhood, ultimately it's Citadel. The one that.
What do you think happens after the Karim? Like they get absorbed by someone else, by BlackRock or something like that, or what do you think happens?
It depends what the other hedge funds decides to do. But right now, if the other hedge funds are smart, they stay the fuck away, because number one, shorting over 100% should be illegal. But let's pretend that they did that, right? Because retail guys like, dude, we got beat up, we got hit, but you know what? We still play your game. You know what I mean? We paid the fucking tuition. Just like in crypto, we got burned, but then we learned. And then we start beating you at your own game. And because something so bad like that, which is supposed to be illegal, did happen, again, guys, quick math. It's the safest fucking bet in the fucking world. The moment short is more than 100%, and you're down so bad because you owe so much, and your daily fucking payout is over $1 billion you have to pay in interest, bro. It's like Hex. It's like daily fucking interest paid out. All you have to fucking do is just chill, because this is what's gonna happen. Oh, you got deep pockets? Okay, we'll see next week. 1.5 billion lost per day. We'll see by Friday where you are. How deep is the pocket? And then you know how the bot's gonna do. It's gonna say, hey, margin call. I need more money. Feed me. Next, okay, you got me? Okay, cool. Tomorrow, margin call.
I mean, like the
I need more. Because nobody's selling, so you can't exit the position. And every time the price goes up, when you keep doubling and doubling, and now with billions, and then we double again, dude, one more double. 1.5 billion daily payout becomes 3 billion. One more double becomes 6. It exponentially grows. And next thing you know, in a matter of a couple weeks, I don't care who you are, you can be done half a trillion. You can be gone. And this is the goal. And this is going to be the model of all epic fucking short squeeze. You thought Tesla stocks was bad when it pumped? Wait what we're going to do with this other.
But then what if they do what Tesla did? You know, when Tesla hit like 900 or something, and Elon was like, it's too expensive. Even Elon was saying that. What if they start splitting stock or doing something like
It
that?
wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter because guess what? It's the same thing. It's just an eyesore. It's like a unit
Gotcha.
bias.
It's just they have
Right?
more of
Because
the thing.
yeah, because Tesla went up to fucking $2,000. That's what it was. And then they did the 5x split. The ticker number says 400, but you got 5 times the share, so it's basically 2,000. So when he went up,
It's all the same.
So when he went up to 800 again, it's the equivalent of like you do 8 times 5. So that's actually a $4,000 stock. That's what it is right now. So even if you split, right? Guess what? Those who own the stock gets more.
Right.
So which means if you're in the fucking hole, Melvin Capital, you're just more in the fucking hole. So it doesn't even fucking matter because now, guess what? You just lower the unit price to allow the new buyer to come in to buy back more. So the little retail guy.
Wow.
So the retail investors have a stronger buying power. Because as the price goes up more, you need a full $300 to buy one share. Make sense? So it becomes tougher for the retail guy. So if they split it and it's low, it becomes easier to buy more. But guess what? We don't even need that shit, bro. We just option that bitch. Okay, $300 plus stock on option call, you can get it for $30. And you're getting the same buying power as a full stock. So you come in, oh, and wait, if the fucking stimulus check comes on time, oh my goodness. It's the easiest trade. I watch.
That's crazy.
I saw another thing that was really cool. It sounded like a great testimony, like David Feder almost. One of the early guy from last year, you know, he bought GameStop with fucking $500. That's all he had, and then it turned into literally $35K. And then he paid a car debt or some stuff like that. So it's power to the people. People are getting rich on the back of Wall Street. The bad people of Wall Street that have been literally scamming and killing companies. Yep. They're not all bad. I want to make that clear. But still, it's just those very nefarious people tied up to that parent company, which been doing bad things way back when, since 2008. And if you watch the forum, it's very emotional. Like you can see people being pissed in a way like they remember when their parents lost their job, when they lost everything. Like we're talking about, like, again, watch out the way mainstream media bullshit. Just like in crypto, they'll be lying, they'll be slandering, they'll be whatever. I'm just happen to be curious. I spend the time. I was bored, so I was like, let me go read about this thing. And then I went and I read. And I was like, dude, I was just so fired up. I was so pissed. I was like, man, I burned that shit to the ground, bro.
And I like that because it's gonna make other hedge funds kind of double think about doing that in the future. You know, they're gonna be like, well, should we be shorting this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to think twice because at first they were like, oh, this is our buddies, meaning like, you know, we're not best friends, but, you know, it's like your classmate. So you have to be like, oh, you know what I mean? Because I got to support. But then it was so flagrant. And then when they even fucking realized how fucking overshorted that was, even them were disgusted. And this is where people like Chamath came and said, no. This should not be allowed. Let's teach them a lesson. And then, of course, you always got the little scavenger, the hyenas that just like, hey, listen, I'm not pro against, but I'm here to make money, bro. I'm here for the mag game. So let me make my little, you know, $500 million go to work because it's literally going to murder Citadel. Because remember, at the shark level, you attack the guy that you know that can pay. And Citadel got the fucking money. And they can pay. Because the simple fact that instead of being more and more liquidated, you're still holding, that means that you're saying, bitch, I got deep pockets. I can hold this shit. Okay. We'll see. We'll see how long. Because we don't care where the money goes. We just want you to lose the money. Either you pay us with the short squeeze, or you're going to pay somebody else with the daily whatever interest payout is. And I wish, man, it would be like crypto where like the fucking short pays the long, man. You see, that's another thing. How Hex is so powerful, right? Compared to traditional stuff and CDs. Like, no. You want to exit scam? You want to bullshit? Penalty goes to the stakers, not the fucking bank, not the, you know, regular CD world. You break your contract, the bank makes the money, not you. You feel me? So all this other thing. So all I'm doing is this week is I'm helping my friend and then fighting the cause, whatever, make the shit ton of money, and whatever the proceeds is, we just need to monitor the shorts to see how much of a squeeze it is. When he gets below 100%, we'll reevaluate. That's what I told him. And then squeeze a little bit more, get it all the way to like, you know, maybe 70%, and then we can exit when the momentum switch, and then you just take all the fucking mad gains.
Nice.
Because he started with like 5K, and he doubled a couple of times. His entry point was somewhere around like $30, some shit like that. It's crazy. So he's getting that. So, but again, as it goes up, you know, if you buy 50K, doubles again, that's 100K, doubles again, you know, you quickly, and then when you take the profit, because that move is gonna be so legendary, by the time they're done, we gotta leave the fucking platform, which they are doing, because this is only keep going right now because the opportunity is so great because of so much short left. But we already know that they learned their lesson. They just can't get out.
Exactly.
That's why
Without
shorting
pumping it
is
more.
so dangerous. Like Richard said all the time, because it's true mathematically, your loss is unlimited. Because on the other side of that is the long, right? Something can go up 50% and then go up another 50% the next day and another 50%. Versus when you're short, you can only get 99.9% up to, you know, zero, whatever. So you can get, but because you're on the other side of that long that infinitely grows, so your loss is infinity too. So it's double whammy, infinity loss plus whatever the balance you carry, accrue daily interest fucking payout you have to do. It's savage, bro. It's just what? It's amazing how fast they're gonna lose money. It's amazing. And even if the short interest goes down, as the price goes up, those shorts are more heavier. You understand? Let's say you started with 140% short, okay, and then it cost you, let's say $10 a share, okay. It costs you $10 million. They push the price up all the fucking way to $100. Now you owe like 2 billion, right? But let's say you took out you deleveraged, so to speak. You got liquidated 30%. So now you only owe 118% of the shorts, okay? But because the price went up 10x, maybe you don't owe 2 billion, but you owe like 1 point something. But guess what? As the short interest goes down, because you're getting liquidated to stop some of the loss, but because the price keeps going up, the total amount that you owe keeps trending upward, higher and higher, all the way to a point where the short level is so low that, oh, and by the way, that's also assuming that the retail investor decide to let you catch a break. Because if I promise you to God, if the motherfuckers have diamond hands like the Hex staker and never sell, I am telling you, it doesn't matter where the short interest fucking is. It almost does not. Because if nobody sells, it's just gonna keep liquidating and liquidate, just like Tesla did. Liquidate, because every other day you can't pay, liquidate it. There's gonna be a little price fluctuation, but if you can't get rid of the stack and you owe on the money, because remember, it's all of the short position was built on borrowed money, like all of it from zero. And then they started to be on the money from $25 all the way down to $3. But the moment they crossed $100 on the other way, I mean, forget $100. When they passed $35, $40, they were already getting liquidated. They returned all of the profit because they opened the short position at 25, where GameStop was. So at 40, they were already in the red, deep. And now it's just a waiting game. It's just a waiting game. You just hold your shares, you wait, they lose money, they get liquidated. They lose money, they get liquidated. And every liquidation push the price up, which makes everybody else more money. And
so
more
basically
money.
right now they're running because the Fed or someone in the government hasn't called them to tell them, hey guys, game's over. I mean,
it is game over. And actually it's not even the Fed. No, they were the one, the parent company Citadel was the one that called Robinhood. And that was another epic thing. One of the Robinhood employee is actually one of Wall Street Bet, risking his job. Dude, that was so epic. He said, guys, listen what we heard today. Literally exposing the whole scam. That's how we knew what was going on. That literally they were doing this coordinated attack. And then when they shut the thing down, they're going to load up some more shorts, because that's why they borrowed the money to push the thing down 44%. That's what they did. And when that word got out, dude, market manipulation at its best. They're going to go to jail and all this other stuff. But that's what created the hodler mentality. Because let's be real, the stock market guy is not a hodler. There was a funny stat that shows from Fundstrat that in 2020, the average holding time of a share of a stock was like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Between buys. And now the motherfuckers are hodlers now, which is awesome. Because another scam that Robinhood trying to do for the little investor, well, I mean, it is also true. Due to the way the clearance house works, if your account is not coded day pattern day trader less than $25,000, you're not allowed to do a buy sell all in one day. You get what's called a good faith violation, because you can buy, sell the same day and rebuy, but you have to hold. If you resell, it gets you a good faith violation, because so many of the small retail investors, they don't have that kind of, but because the price went up so much, now the portfolio is bigger. So now they'll be like coded as, nah, we can day trade that bitch, because they're going to do the same thing. They're going to, like a bull market. If it gets overextended, they sell, recapitalize, price goes back down, but not too much to make the short seller be happy, and you buy back the dip, and then you got more buying power because you sold at the 4,500, and then you buy back. The issue about the Thursday move was it was a scam, because they literally they were making people sell, and that's the thing that's gonna get Robinhood founder to jail. Not only they make the buy button goes away, but they were forced closing position of people. You're not allowed to do that. That's illegal. So, but let's just say we sold the top because we see it retrace, but we can't rebuy because you're blocking us. So that's why the candle happened, and now when that thing reopened the next day on Friday, because the big cloud, dude, they loaded that fucking dip 68%. So, dude, Monday's going to be epic. Watch pre-market, dude. Oh, my God. Wake up early. Wake up early. The whole day is going to be epic. It's just, you're going to watch, grab your popcorn, whatever. And even if the price doesn't move, as long as you stay where it is, just count the days.
Right.
Just remember what I said. Roughly $1 to $1.5 billion loss per day for holding the short.
What is the price of GME right now? Do you know?
Like 325, I think, or 329, some shit like that.
You think they'll pump it to 1,000, 325 right now? 325.
This is the craziest stat. On Tuesday, the guy Wall Street Bet had 12,000 followers on Twitter. Okay, because they were mainly on the Reddit, right? By the time Thursday came by, 48 hours, and thanks to Elon Musk because he retweeted him and he replied. It went from 12K subscriber to 800,000. 800,000. And by the way, we talk about people with potential monetary power ready to fucking trigger. Like you see on the forum went from like 1.5 to 7.5 million subscriber on the fucking Reddit. It's insane, dude. It's worldwide. You see people from Hong Kong, Vancouver, the whole world. Everybody that lost money in 2008. You want to scapegoat?
They found them.
Citadel just became the target. And all they have to do is buy that fucking dip and just launch that. It's almost, you can't lose, because you know where the money is going to come from. The squeeze. Just like Tesla. So now the hedge funds are the guys. They got to jump in, because if they don't jump in, the retail guy is going to buy the stock. So they're like, dude, it's an easy money. It's an easy play. Easy play. And even my customer
it's like
today,
it's going up no matter what.
Even my customer today, all those little kids, gamers, whatever, they be telling all their parents what's going on. The parents were so fed up. My customer today literally said, yeah, I'm buying 5K tomorrow. My son told me about this. Yeah, just screw them. I don't even need the money. Let's throw $5,000 just to fuck with them. And I'm just going to buy it and just hold it. Because now it becomes literally like a hard position almost. Which is amazing. Hey.
Sorry about that, Karim. I was just getting a sip of water real quick. So yeah, I mean, let me ask you. No, sorry about that. No, that was just had to get a water break. Quick question. So, you mentioned about the almost like a bluffing game, right? Like it's like the game of chicken, right? Who's got I guess the stronger hand? You mentioned like retail traders versus like Citadel and things like this. What are your thoughts on like the Wall Street bets and whatnot, like with the silver? Like, do you think do you think that's what are your thoughts on them kind of trying to attack those shorts, or like, do you think the game right now is just kind of what you're talking about with the Citadel? So I heard them.
It's the same thing like I told my brother and then his friends when they were super excited on that Wednesday night, and they called me and I told them, hey, hold on, that's all great. Let me do some research, but that's all great and all. But again, parabola, even like that, nothing goes up in a straight line. There's also technicals you have to look out for. That's why I told them you got to wait. And then because I literally the night before we were talking, I said, listen, just like when I was with Maddie, I said, listen, rich people don't just go down without a fucking fight. Those motherfuckers got a lot more fucking money. So some other hedge fund had to come and push the price up, which they did, which I predicted, like Chamath. They bought call option at 120 to push it up. They waited to see from $3 to run to make it a sure bet and then liquidate more. But then he sold after that. Those people are scavengers too. They come in and out. So you have to be careful about that. But then the biggest jet fuel became when, because I kid you not, this could have just ended on Wednesday. I kid you not. But because they did what they did on Thursday, yo, the fire that created that, and technically speaking too, because, you know, narrative is narrative. Who gives a fuck, right? But it helps in this condition. But it created a 44% dip. So the guy that was late, like my friends and some of the people that just getting the news, they're like, shit, it's too high. And then you get a 44% dip that you know is not rational because it's only created because shit got shut down. So two things happened here for technical standpoint. Everything got shut down for the retail investor, which is the main buyer, which then means when the thing was crashing, because remember, shit can crash all the way to zero. It stopped where it was at 154, perfect 61.8 retracement because the big wallets, the super whale, the hedge fund, that's when they were getting in. Because remember, nobody else could buy but the hedge fund because they shut it those platforms that retail used, but they didn't shut down the other ones from other hedge funds and Fidelity, which to me and every smart trader, shit, that's the bottom. That's the floor right there. So a crazy event created a floor, forced liquidated or closed position for people. So when the next day opened up, you like, fuck yeah, let's roll. 154 is the bottom. I can call from here. There's only one way, up. I got deep pockets. Fucking GameStop, which was about to go out of business. The big company is not even selling fucking shares, basically telling Wall Street bet, you got my back, I got your back. I ain't selling no shares. Let's squeeze the motherfuckers up because they were ready to kill us. And the CEO is so thankful right now, you have no fucking idea. Because they're like, dude, we just survived thanks to those people. Because they've been doing some restructuring. Seriously. I read about it. They do online stores. They get kids together, 6 feet away, make them play in the game. Like, they've been trying. They're not as bad as the fucking Wall Street guys were painting them to be. So now they're like, we have to get those people's back because they got our back when we needed the most. So the parent company, GameStop, isn't selling their share. That's like the OA. You feel me? So they're like, we got you. Selling? We ain't fucking selling. Let's roll. So you add that plus the technical, the retracement, perfect long position. Dude, those people that long on Thursday, they made 100% on their money in one day. One fucking day. And what do you think they're going to do tomorrow? We learned that in crypto.
Let it roll.
You let the winner run. You let the winner. Wow. And because you do the math. There's so much outstanding short still that it's just like, dude, I hate to say this in investment because we're not supposed to say this, but it's 100% win, bro. All you have to do is hold. It's 100%.
Wow. And then, Karim, so how high do you think it'll go? Like, how high do you think it can pump it?
Well, I look at the you got to go to the option trading platforms because that's where the calls are. Because basically, if the retail guy wants, he can just never fucking sell and just liquidate all the way up. The way liquidation works is that the bot just looks at market limit orders. Whatever it's there, it's going to take. The same way when you panic dump, right? Get me out. You just say whatever limit order. If somebody put a fucking like Bitcoin or whatever, if somebody put a limit order at 1K, right? And there's so low liquidity and he drops that, you get motherfucking filled at 1K. So it's just whatever the computer is. And you got to go to those option sites to see. And this is the reason why Friday was such a big day. Because options is Friday to Friday. It's a weekly game. And you have to win by the end of the week. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they pushed them back because Thursday was a crazy day and nobody chickened out. So now we leave for another week. And now time is in their favor. Because just like staking in Hex, every day they're losing money, billions. So it's just liquidation waiting to happen. So what the crowded call that I've seen so far, which is outrageous, which is amazing, with the people from Wall Street Bets or whoever the major holders are, they say, you want my share? You want to get out? Okay, I'll let you out. How much? $800.
Here.
$800 motherfucking dollars. The most crowded call option that I've seen on some of those sites, literally screenshot. And if you go to the Fidelity or whatever, because you can see, you see, that's what everyone said. It's all public information. This is when people dive in, they wait a minute, those motherfuckers running 140% short. Like, are you fucking serious? And then you get to see, because those same platforms, big hedge funds goes over there. They shouldn't be because they have big money, but they're like, hey, let's make our billions feel like it's trillions of dollars. So let's go over there and play the game.
Right.
But this is nothing worse than that when you're short, because you can't get out until you get liquidated or somebody's willing to sell it to you at whatever the price is. So right now, the reason why it bounced back so much was nobody sold. And the first open trade was like, that's why pre-market is so powerful, because literally it's limit orders only. You literally just, okay, today, let's be fun. I want to be filled at 560. You put the limit order over there and then you wait. And then the bot just snatch it, because he's liquidating those guys because they have to get out. They have to get out. So you can just make savage gains, savage. You literally just put it over there, 800. You just get failed because they have to get out. They have to get out.
You're like buying at 3, selling at 8 all day.
Yep.
I love
it. It's like a blank check. It's like a fucking blank check. Because remember, this pushback started since $3. Let me say it again. It started since $3 motherfucking.
Yeah, I just checked a month ago. It was like $20. I was
exactly.
like, what was I looking at GameStop like a month ago?
So at first you're like, all right, let's be cool. $3. Okay, give me 15. He went on the news. That was like 4 or 5 months ago, September. Oh my God, 5x money, which is cool. And then it's like, wait a minute, they have more to squeeze. I got all this buying power. Matter of fact, I'm liking this fucking trade. I'm up 8,000%. I got all this extra buying power. What do you do? Like Bitcoin or crypto or Hex, you keep buying the winner. Let's go. So you make it even more scarce. The float is even less. And then you just watch the liquidation. And then if every day you're getting anywhere between 20 to 30% on your fucking money, why even fucking sell? It's like you stake, you're getting the daily payout. Trading doesn't even matter anymore. So you just get boom. And as the price goes up, you now get more buying power because your equity goes up and you fucking load up on that dip too. And you just keep pushing and pushing. And next thing you know, David can now fight Goliath and turn into the Goliath. And then keep pushing them and keep pushing them. Because the simple fact that they're still over 100% is really what's creating this epic squeeze. It's going to be the mother of all fucking squeeze. So now watch how on Monday, they're going to squeeze some more, probably another 18% out of that. And then it can easily go to 600. I kid you not, $500 to $600 probably Monday. And then Tuesday, you could be at 800. By the Friday, it could easily be 800. It's just you got to have the diamond hands. Those little retail investors, they got to be just very, very powerful. Like this guy, the leader is powerful. Because remember, he never made that kind of money before. By the way, he's from Boston. Shit. He's from Massachusetts. There
you go. Man, who, Karim? Talk to him. Be like,
50K turning to $50 million. And it's so powerful because he's taking those daily screenshots just to show everybody, guys, I haven't sold anything. I'm here. Let's ride. And then he put it on the, dude, I can post the thing because my friend follow it closely. He posted already 3 hours ago on the Reddit post. It was epic. And they have sick memes, dude. They get jokes. And the post started as a subject like, please hear me out. Let me tell you why I'm selling all my share first thing Monday morning, right? People freak out to go read the post. And then that was just the subject title. And then the first is like, haha, YOLO, I'm not a fucking sale. That was so epic. It's like, we ride. He literally said, we ride our dome, ready to roll.
That's awesome.
Lock and loaded.
I mean, that's going to keep a lot of people honest, too, going on into the future. I'm sure a lot of people are not going to want to just be either that much public or, they're going to control themselves and not doing this in the future. Because
Facts. They need to lose like 150 billion. It has to be so salty that, number one, the very nefarious one, they got to go out of business. They deserve to go out of business. This is scamming at its best. And number two, it has to be so much pain that the next time the Wall Street guy was going to think twice. And that's what Elon is doing. And that's the key. By the way, the whole hashtag Bitcoin that he tweeted and Bitcoin pumped like crazy for crypto. The real story about that is they find out same crazy fucking hedge fund. They were shorting crypto, shorting Bitcoin. Because let's be real, if you're shorting Bitcoin, you're shorting crypto. Real fucking talk. So after the 40K minute top, then whatever, instead of letting the market cool down and be nice and whatever, because I told you guys before they could be like cool, but they're like, nah, let's fucking short that shit. So they had a $1 billion, that's the story, over $1 billion short hedge funds for Bitcoin. And when Elon just say hashtag Bitcoin, don't motherfucker got liquidated. 600 million liquidation on the fucking 4-hour candle. Price went up 18 motherfucking percent. And we're talking Bitcoin here. Let's be real. Big caps.
Right.
So for a 4-hour thing, liquidation up the motherfucking ass. Because when you get liquidated, it doesn't matter if the price goes back down or whatever. You just lost because you got
exactly. You're out.
You know what I mean? Because paper loss is paper loss. You still maintain your units. Just like in crypto, in a bear market, what do? Increase your motherfucking units. Right. Like I told people right now, 555 fucking stakes. Don't worry about the price. Stop being a fucking idiot. Stack your fucking hex. Okay? Dream accounts making 50,000 hex every motherfucking day. Sometimes 75,000 because idiots decide to fucking give me penalties. I said, thank you very fucking much. So understand those things. The exit is not today. Okay? It's future. We're better than Bitcoin because we have a mechanism that pays you while you stake, while you hold. The same way people were saying, how many stories we heard about the people, oh, if Bitcoin had a staking mechanism or this or that, because
I'll be a millionaire.
Because when you already literally, forget the 100x, let's be real talk. When you're already 3 to 5x on your money, which all of us on this call probably already are a long time ago, it's like selling doesn't even make any fucking sense. So it's because you're getting the daily payout and you're already so on top because it's about entry point, just like the traders. The entry point, the main capital is safe. Everything else is just gravy from there. So you have no reason to sell. And that's what I also said on the trading chat where people don't understand the psychology. As the price constantly go up, it's going to do like a true motherfucking parabola. It's going to go up even faster and faster because the likelihood, and again, this is just psychology. The likelihood of somebody selling goes lower and lower as their gains keeps getting savage and savage because there's no more desperation. You're so happy. You're so thankful. You make so much fucking money. You like the price when it's $1 per hex. So why would you want to sell the price down to make it to kill the golden goose? Especially now when you have an incentive to hold because you're getting paid. Because what do you think the big fucking Bitcoin holders are doing? They love the price going up to 42K and 60K and 6 figures. Maybe they sell a little bit, but they're fucking smart. Like the Trace Mayer, I'll never forget one of his early interviews. He sells Bitcoin once a fucking year. January 1st, he calculates all these fucking expenses for the whole fucking year. Very smart. Limited his taxable event because his entry on his Bitcoin is so fucking low. I mean, shit, we're talking about $1.50 way back when. So it's like the tax ramification because they're going to ask you, when did you buy this? What was the entry point?
Crazy.
See, people don't think about that. Tax is your worst enemy sometimes in terms of like losing your gains. So all that to say, you're thankful. You're so much on your money. You know, some of the early people are over 100x on their money, on their original investment. You know, even me, thanks to Big Payday, I'm about somewhere around 8x because again I stake long, even with the price retracement. So it's like, who are we kidding? Like if you ask
we
me,
say
like,
that, Karim. It's crazy that we can say this.
The account is to me is almost like the valuation is already amazing enough that it's like I thought we will get there. Like real talk, I thought we'll get there like a year from now, but we're already there. Which means
we
I'm buying every fucking dip, dude. I don't even look at the price. Payday comes, I just market buy, move on with my day. I put it in my other wallet, chill. I like to do 2 million stakes, so I wait until I get to 2 mil, boom. Because I'm buying with the paycheck. I'm not trading. I'm not trying to get wrecked, and I'm not trying to wreck other people too. Because again, it's also the psychology, but also I all know, just like Bitcoin, you miss the fucking couple of days or 1 or 2 weeks, you lose 90% of the gains. The same way in April, right? Because some people had to learn the hard way. Me, I just so happened to find a hex around that time too. So that major pump came out of nowhere. No fucking where. And guess what? It was a 10,000 ETH market buy. Let me remind your audience right now, I don't care about the hex ETH pair, but I just want to say one thing. We're very, very close to the ratio where that big ass candle came from way back when. It was right around anywhere between 0.0004,000 to 0.0006,000, something around that area where that massive. So which means at any time that well can come back and just bucks people out. They need to understand the powerful thing about the unstaking massive stake that's about to happen, which I'm very excited about, is that, dude, you might be about to gain some motherfucking position on your staker app. Because when that fucking Billy exit, yo, first of all, if he's smart, because share rate just went up 68% from his early stake, and those were pre-Genesis shares, but over 1 billion Hex Genesis shares about to come out, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if we crack 17,000 Hex per T-share. Let me say it again, quick math. We could easily, after the first big low comes down, we could be trending towards 17,000 Hex per T-share just like this. And then if he does not restake, just to show the bear case, you know what I mean, to show why it doesn't make sense, dude, the dream account might become super shark just by itself. Because no, seriously, go look at the fucking stake. Billion, dude, it's like 56,000 to 100,000 T-shares. Real talk. Because people they don't do the math. They don't look at it. Because you can't have it both ways, bro. You either sell or you stay in the pool. So if that guy sells, which I don't think he's gonna do, the amount that's exiting the pool, dude, it's gonna be fucking candy. We might crack $6 per hex again because of that, because it's gonna be massive T-share exiting. You add that plus the fact that even if the guy restake, which I think he probably will, we'll still get a share rate increase, and he's gonna have to restake at the worst rate. You understand? Right. So the bill is gonna come out. He's gonna get his fucking interest too. Let's not forget that. But share rate's gonna readjust. And then assuming he doesn't restake the whole thing just to barely keep up with this thing, which I think he's gonna do, but he's gonna lose position. And for long-term holder like myself and you guys, it's music to my ear one way or another. Either he restake, maintain stability, and box out the people that panic for no reason, and then just market buy. Like literally, he can just end stake, share price goes up, so that our share rate chart start to look higher, and then he just pumps the price. It's like boxing people out, like a double closing. You push the share rate, and then you push the price up, and everybody that sold because they were panicking because they thought it would be a dump, they get priced out. It's literally like a squeeze. Like we're doing our own squeeze.
What if Karim, and it's something I haven't heard yet. What if they only do us like a 3-month stake? Just in 3 months we're in the same.
What I like about the 3-month thing is that it's so much fucking hex anyways, and so much T-shares that even for 3 months, every 3 months, he can push the share rate like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very fucking smart, because guess what? Every time he does the 3 months, he can just restake because he probably doesn't need the money. Let's be real. Or he can just sell a little bit of the profit interest and then just ride. Because why would he want to damage his own stack, right? Again, people got to use common sense, logic.
Yeah, exactly. He's got longer stakes, so he's not going to ruin his own.
Exactly.
Sure.
And he also has a lot of longer stakes. As crazy as it sounds, that same fucking wallet and those big 200 million whatever wallet, they do have 10-year stakes too. People forget that. And 15-year stakes too. So again, that doesn't make any sense. So
I mean, the way I see it, watching what Silver has said, watching everyone that has mentioned this new whale, this whale and what's coming in March 15, I've noticed that Benny has seen the same dates that I've seen in February too. Meaning, the way I see it right now, after March 15, you can see that ocean of stakes, just so flat. So I'm buying every time I get a little bit of fiat. I DCA. I get some more because I feel that real soon we're going to be at 2 cents, 1.5 cents, and then thinking, oh my God, I could have double. I could have been buying double the amount of hex. So it's going to be crazy.
Because from the ratio where we are now, we can easily pump 100x easy. Because again, when the first 100x move did on the hex ETH ratio, Ethereum was barely like about, I'm being nice, was about like $150 on average. Okay, because the 87 was way back almost like December and whatever. But let's say I'm counting the serious pump of like April, which was right around like 4,000, which is close to where we are now. 4,000 to 6,000 of ETH. But the key is that when that started, Ethereum was about 150 and plus, and they could easily pump that price. And then it did 100x. Now Ethereum is $1,300. It did a 10x from that. So which means if it does the same 100x move from something that's now 10 times more expensive, because remember, Uniswap, we're a ratio. So if we go back to the ratio that we were, 30,000 Gwei, right, which was the peak, 30 to 35,000 Gwei at a $1,300 fucking Ethereum, dude, do the math. It's savage. It's savage. And it moves.
I've been waiting, man. I've been waiting because the second that I saw Bitcoin go over 30, the second that I saw Ethereum go over 1,000, I was like, remember, oh man, here we go.
It moves in function of square. So let's do quick math here live on stream, right? Let's say we're 6,000 Gwei or 55,000, or 5,500, right? The Hex ETH pair, okay? And then we go back to, or even 5,000. Let's be nice. Let's round it up. And then we go back to 35,000 Gwei, okay? That's a 7x. You follow me? Right? Now, remember, it's a function of a square, right? So that means that if we do 7 times multiple, the price actually go up 50x, 49x to be, because it's a square, 7 square, right? So that just shows you how we can go. I kid you not, and we did that in a month, right?
Yeah.
If we go back to that point, wherever the price is right now, less than a penny, or let's just say close to a penny or whatever, we could easily, that's a 40 to 50 cents hex, just like that in a matter of a month. Somewhere between March to April again. Let that sink in. Yeah. And all those people that give away their hex and whatever, by the time they're gonna buy it back, it's gonna be so expensive. You're gonna look like 100,000 hex is gonna be like fucking expensive. It's gonna cost you like almost like 50 grand. And that's gonna be just 100,000. And you're gonna be like, wait a minute, I used to have a million of those. The same way some of the early people, and they know themselves, some of them are watching live, they remember when they had like 50 million hex, like it was a joke, right? They remember buying, and I wasn't there, buying again 1.2 million for like 1 ETH, which is about $100. Now it's like thousands of dollars. So imagine that same thing, because we're just getting started. And just like Bitcoin, the higher the liquidity, the higher during the inflation, a lot of available token was actually when the price mooned the fastest. And if you look at the Hex ETH chart and you put it on the monthly chart, it fucking mimicked Bitcoin. When it did that first big pump, L-shape, stay a little bit, only about like 3 months to 6 months, and then did another one. That first kind of double bull run, that did a big one, waited a little bit, and then did another big one. When inflation was at the highest, the most nasty, because you get so many fucking units. This is the reason why the whales like to fucking pump Dogecoin, because I heard it prints like crazy amount of tokens every 10 minutes or whatever. So it's just like, people need to understand that's an incentive. It's not a default. The only time you're really worried about the 2.9 is when you have so much wealth. You just want to like maintain the wealth and not let the wealth erode itself. And honestly, if you stake longer than the average stake length, who cares? You don't have inflation.
Exactly.
You're actually taking from the other people. You're taking from the other stakers that's not willing to stake longer, and worse, you're savaging the trader that has not staked, because the economic value goes to you. So all these things, although sounds complicated, it's actually very simple. Very simple.
And the thing is, like, we keep buying under a penny. I keep telling everyone we're buying under a penny. T-shirts under 150. I mean, it's crazy, because whenever T-shirts are going to be like 2-3K in a few years, people are going to be like,
I'm at the charging
buy everything I could in T-shirts and just throw them 555s. So
absolutely, absolutely. So it's just it's not only a great learning experience, but people get to see and understand how this thing works and where the value is. Because a lot of the time, people just panic because they have no clue, because either they're not educated or they didn't spend the time to be educated. But once they know, this is why you see me spending a lot of time breaking things down, to the point where some people will look at me like, dude, why are you giving away all the knowledge? Because they don't understand that, listen, I'm here for the community, and because the network effect of that.
I appreciate you, Karim. We really do, bro.
The same way you see that guy Wall Street Bet galvanizing the community, bringing the information, breaking everything down, solid fucking analysis to the point where even other hedge funds be like, man, this kid is on point, because they thought, you see, because on the mainstream media bullshit, they're running this scam and this basically it's a tactic where they just literally belittle people, you know what I mean, make them look bad, paint a bad picture, change the frame. It's all about framing. That's all they're doing, right? Slander, almost, for lack of a better word, that they're doing. It's basically slander. And now when you actually go and you read the forum, when you actually go and read the analysis, this guy been talking GameStop since 2019.
Yep,
Did
that's
you
what I was telling Brand earlier. I was like, "This is not new, man. He's been talking about it." So,
Exactly.
Karim, we're up a little over Hexa right now, but bro, I'm so happy that you came over, man. So I really appreciate all your insight, man, and everything that you do for the community. You're Karim the Dream, bro. We really love you, bro.
Appreciate you guys too. No, awesome. And then yeah, for those of you who are new watching the stream, you know, nice to meet you all. And then yeah, you can see me on Telegram. I'm always there, usually just Karim, just at me or whatever, or on Twitter. So if you tap stickerclass.com, it pops up automatically, one of the two. But yeah, dude, excited to be here. Let Hexo go. I'm gonna do some more work, and yeah, I'll probably catch up to you guys on Monday on Discord or something.
Good deal. Thank you so much, Karim. Have a great one, brother.
Awesome. And then just real quick, just to peace out, same thing with you, IdentityBlock. I know with yourself on Twitter, where can people find you real quick here?
On Twitter, so Twim787 on Twitter, and then IdentityBlock on YouTube. Most of my videos are in Spanish, but I'm going to do a playlist of the English ones, so you can find me there.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll chit-chat with you next time. All right, everybody, don't want to run over Hexo too much. So he's streaming right now. We just rated him with like 15 people. We're going to rate him with the rest of the viewers, right? So let's go to Hex.doctor, twitch.tv/the Hexologist, and let's all show him some support. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. See you next time.